Do it live!
There we go. Well, we're live, guys. I hope you are doing well. What is up, everybody? Welcome back once again to Hot Toys Hotline Live, our special Tuesday episode. Tonight, guys, we're going to be talking about a topic that I think is very important, especially now. A lot of collectors have put up questions online. There's been a lot of speculation, especially over the last 6 months or so. And I think we're finally starting to see some signs of some actual evidence as to what is happening and what may continue to happen moving forward. Before we get started and say what's up to everybody in the chat, I just want to say what's up to this great panel that I have here with me tonight. As you saw, or maybe did not see in the chat, Ryan is having issues with his power. He is supposed to be on tonight, so if his power comes back on, maybe he'll be with us. If not, he will be hanging out with us in the chat. But of course, as always, we have Sean, the Hot Toys Nightmare. Sean, thank you so much for being here. As always, it's great to have you here, and great to have you here, especially for this great topic that I feel like you definitely have some really good insight on. So I hope you're doing well, and it's awesome to have you here as always.
Well, thank you, Connor. I appreciate your time and allowing me to come on with you tonight.
Oh, it was a pleasure, dude. It's a pleasure to have you. We're starting early, guys. Oh, Lord. Well, and with that, of course, guys, you can see we have a special guest down here. My friend, Don Prime from Geeking Out. I was talking to Don the other day, and I'm like, Don, I got to get you back on soon. Don is a great friend of the channel and a great friend to me and a great friend to a lot of you all. So we very much appreciate you being here, Don. And I really thought that you would have some great insight on this topic, being that you are a veteran collector. So I can't wait to have some conversations with you on this because I know you'll have some great insight and probably some great advice for some of the newer collectors in the chat as well. And anybody who watches this video on the replay or anything, that's what this stream is for. It's just kind of to educate some newer collectors, kind of share our thoughts with maybe some veteran collectors in the chat as well, and kind of to get their thoughts on the topic. But great to have you here, Don. Awesome to have you back on the channel.
Thanks, brother. Thanks. Appreciate it. And thanks, everyone, for saying hi. Thanks much.
Hi, Don.
Yeah, Don, you're famous, man. I'm not surprised everybody's
saying I'm now a D-list celebrity.
We could bump you up to a C, Don. If I'm a D, you got to at least be a C, Don. At least a C.
Well, in YouTube sense.
Exactly. Because realistically, we're nobodies in the world sense. But let's say what's up some people in the chat, and then we're going to get started, guys. Got a lot of people in here already, 23 people. We very much appreciate you all. We got Thick Bantha Boy in here. Thick Bantha Boy says, let's rock the house. I love the enthusiasm. It's great to see you here as always, my friend, and I hope you are doing well. Mike is here in the chat. Mike, I love the the profile picture of the new Batman Armory statue legs. It's very clever. It's funny because that's something only a Hot Toys collector would notice, that profile picture. I hope you're doing well, Mike. It's great to have you here as always. My boy Eddie Rodriguez in the chat says, best place to be on a Tuesday night. Well, hey, I very much appreciate that, Eddie. It's great to have you here as always, and I hope you're doing well. Payton23, guys, congratulations to Payton. I very much appreciate Payton helping us out. Payton is the newest member of the moderation team in the chat. So I hit up Payton. I said, hey, dude, we could use a little extra help moving forward. Would you mind jumping in and helping us out? And he said, absolutely. So thank you so much, Payton, for volunteering to help us out, moderating the chat. Even though we have great people in the chat, we really never have issues. But hey, it's great to have you here, and it's great to have you helping us out. So I very much appreciate it. Funky Cold Santa says, hello, peoples. What's up, Funky Cold? I hope you're doing well. Great to see you here as always. My friend Ty is here. Hello to you, Ty. I hope you're doing well. It's always great to see you, and I'm so glad you're able to catch us live. We have TX Boy in the chat. TX Boy says, yo, what's up, 1-6 fan? What's up to you, TX? I hope you're doing well. Wayne Timothy is here. Hello, Wayne. I hope you're doing well. Great to have you here as always. Of course, like I said, we have Ryan, the Mr. Mom Collectibles in the chat. Hopefully his power magically comes back on. Thor kind of electrocutes his house and turns everything back on for him. Maybe we'll see him towards the end of the stream. You never know. You never give up hope, as Nate would say. You always got to have hope. We have Facebook user saying, shout out. What's up, Facebook user? As I always say, there are instructions if you would like to show your name in the chat for StreamYard if you look at the post on Facebook. If not, that's okay. Tom Daly is here. What's up, Tom? I hope you're doing well. Great to have you here as always. Owen from In the D-Top says, good evening, gentlemen. Owen, if you would like, you could certainly jump in with us. Just send me a message on Facebook. Since we're short right now, feel free to hop in if you would like and talk about this awesome topic. If not, it's awesome to have you hanging out with the chat with us. Let's see. Equan says, Mr. Don Prime is back. Hello, gentlemen. Yes, it's great to have Don back. It kind of goes full circle because Don was one of the first special guests we had on the channel. And Don's supported me since the beginning, so we love Don. You know, Don. I always say Don's one of the nicest guys I've ever spoken to in this community. So it's great to have Don back. Control Alt Delete is here. He says, "Morning. Oh, what's up, Control Alt Delete? I hope you're doing well. Great to have you here as always." And guys, our panel member and our fellow friend, Collecting Madness, is in the chat. He is still on his. I don't know if Sean is actually talking.
Do not. No, I muted myself to not say what I wanted to say, but I'm going to say it. No. Okay, you went to the dark side. You got married, and you chose not to be here, and instead you're here. Jim Bob the Brown Knob. No. Do not read his message tonight.
Well, he says he misses us, Sean. He says, "What's up, collectors? Chris, we can't wait to have you."
I said don't.
We miss you. I got to. He's my boy, man. I got to. We have another one of our great moderators in the chat, Matt. Matt says, "Good evening, everyone." Good evening to you, Matt. Awesome to have you here. And yes, Tom, I would agree. Don is the man. Boba Fettuccine is here. What's up, Boba? I hope you're doing well. Leighton Richards. Hey, legends. Hope you all are well. We hope you are doing well also. Mike says, hey to Don. OG fan in the chat. What's up, OG? I hope you're doing well. Great to have you here as always. And yes, guys, I completely forgot to put the link to Geeking Out, but you guys know where to find them. But here's a link in the chat. Please follow Geeking Out, subscribe to them on their way to the road to 3,000 subscribers. If you're not subscribed, excuse me, I can't even talk. If you're not subscribed already, what are you doing? Head on over to Geeking Out, guys. I highly recommend it. We have Diablo Fett in the chat. What's up, Diablo? I hope you're doing well. Great to have you here as always. Let's see. Doug Ambino is in the chat. What's up, Doug Ambino? I hope you're doing well. Awesome to have you here. I hope you're having a great Tuesday evening. Sith Lord's in the chat. Hello to you, Sith Lord. I love the profile picture, by the way. Sluggin16 in the chat, as always, says, good evening, Hotline crew and fellow collectors. Good evening to you. Stevie Weeby says, no soup for you. What's up, Stevie Weeby? Great quote, and I hope you're doing well. Dom Prime is the scout/sniper team all in one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And with that, guys, I hope I didn't miss anybody, but if I did, don't worry. If you're dropping chats, I will try to read them as we're going through the stream. But, of course, we're going to get started now. Again, guys, the topic is, are these newer figures that are going to waitlist and being fully sold out, are they starting to retain value? We're going to look at those. We're going to look at the prices on eBay, see what they're selling for. We're going to take a look at the waitlists first, though, guys. We're just going to look at some currently waitlisted figures. And guys, there's been some recent movements, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of stuff going to waitlist, and it seems like what Sideshow has been doing is been kind of waitlisting stuff in waves. We've seen that a lot recently. It's like they put a few figures at a time on the last chance page, and they're like, here you go. This is going to last chance. Here's your chance. And the interesting thing is, some stuff does pop back every once in a while. It's a fake out, as we call it. The stock numbers get adjusted over the weekend or whatever, and it shows back up on Monday. But a majority of these figures, that is not happening. We're seeing true waitlist come very early in the figures pre-order cycle. And it's been consistent like that for about like 6-7 months now, guys. It's been a while. So I don't know about you. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. We're going to pull up the last chance page here on Sideshow. But guys, and we'll start with you, Sean. Do you think these wait lists are real? Like, I know there's been a lot of speculation, and we've kind of sat back and shared our thoughts on it over the past 6 or 7 months, like I said. But after seeing what's been happening, when you see all these figures on wait list here popping up on the last chance page, what are your thoughts on this, Sean? Is this real?
I think it's real for the most part. There's some that I question, but for the most part, I think it's real.
Yeah.
There's just... I mean, I could see it as a business ploy, too, to get people into the FOMO zone and trying to go through and snatch up stuff. And then getting a large group of things for waitlisted. And then once people start saying, oh, this figure is awesome and have it in hand and people want it, getting those waitlists converted. However, I do think for the most part, though, it's real. Like specifically Wolverine, that's lasted a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think the actual almost gone, and if it's showing up on waitlist, I think that's going to be real.
And that the Wolverine had what? Is it 2 or 3 SKUs? Maybe
There's 2.
Two.
Well, there's the exclusive, non-exclusive.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there's
deluxe,
4.
and-
There was 4 SKUs.
Yeah, because I know the one with the stand, they had 2 different versions. I was just trying to, because I knew there's the deluxe, but then there's deluxe exclusive.
Exactly.
But I didn't even realize they were making 2 normal versions, because I for whatever reason thought it was just the normal version. So I mean, this is another 4 SKU like Vader.
Yeah. And now we're seeing that, I mean, the other 3 are waitlisted, so the deluxe is the last one hanging on. So I think once this one is gone, that's when you're going to see a lot of people start heading over to their alternate comic shops and stuff to try to pick that one up. And like Sean said, I think that one, if we're like speculating, is this one going to come back or not? That one's been up for a while, so that one doesn't surprise me at all. The ones that are more surprising to me, Don, are a little bit surprising, a little bit not, because I know a lot of people weren't too keen on pre-ordering these, but Jake and Natiri from Avatar 2. We saw the collector's editions both go to waitlist already, and now we're seeing both deluxes are on their way out. I don't know about you, Don, but that one, it's like, I'm surprised that it's so quick, but also at the same time, I'm like, I know a lot of people weren't very enthusiastic about those figures, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this is a unique situation because you got to remember that the original one came out, what, 2009?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
been a minute. Actually,
yeah,
no.
it's been that. Yeah, was it two? I think it was 2000.
I think the original one was released way after the film, was it not? For some reason, I think it was like 2013, 2012, something like that.
No.
2009 was when the film came out. For some reason, I thought it came out later.
Yeah,
I could be
but
wrong,
but again, and then okay, so you have a little bit of a generational love that's been coming up from the movie. You know, kids see it. They were too young to buy the figure in 2013 or 2014. You know, so now people are seeing this. And so you do have a portion of people that are wanting to this. And then here's another thing. It's also got that it's a Disney property.
yeah.
So again, that also is going to draw in additional people because there are people just like us who are going to buy something just because it's a line like Iron Man or a certain Star Wars line. People are going to buy stuff just because it has Disney on the box.
That is very true.
And the fact there has been such a long gap between the movies, and then you have the opportunity to get this, and people, you know, like I said, they saw the movie. Now they can just see it. This is your chance to get, you know, Jake. But I mean, I don't even know how much the original one goes for anymore. I mean, because it could still suffer from problems. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I did read there were some problems with the joints and the legs, but it's been a long time.
As far as I gathered on it, yeah, that's the biggest issue. I remember talking to Monica about it because I was kind of considering buying it before the first movie came out. And I'm like, you know what? Let me wait and see what happens. And I'm glad I didn't because here we go. You know, we got these two. But yeah, that was the most common issue. I don't know if this one's going to suffer from the same issue, but yeah, I do find it very interesting. I find it very interesting, especially these figures. I mean, I can't imagine what these are probably going to be like less than 1,500 pieces. I don't think these even ever cracked the top 10 on Sideshow in terms of pre-order numbers. So I think these are going to be very low numbers. Does that necessarily mean in the future they're going to be worth a lot of money? I don't know, because honestly, I think the current Jake is worth about 350 to 400 if you're not going through eBay. So that one's not worth a ton of money, so I don't expect at least the Jake to be worth that much. Who knows about Natiri? But yeah, very interesting. These didn't last very long. And then we have She-Hulk as well. I mean, I think She-Hulk at least lasted the current like 6-month window. I could be wrong. I know Sean, I think you had a list somewhere of all the different figures and when they were announced that are now going to waitlist or about to be on waitlist. Or excuse me,
Yeah,
on waitlist or about to be on waitlist. But I think she probably made it the full cycle, if not close to it. While you're looking that up, Sean, if you don't mind, I want to address a couple comments. Rusty Bronco says it's going to take years to see. Money supply is the highest maybe ever, so everything is inflated right now. Yeah, and Rusty, this is also something, of course, we're just speculating on what we currently see, but Sideshow may change back to a different model in the future. You never know. As of right now, I'm sure this is working for them. They're probably getting record pre-orders more than ever because of the current situation with stuff selling out quickly. I feel like a lot of collectors, including myself, are feeling like they should pre-order stuff sooner than later because it does sell out so quickly. But of course, what the future holds, that remains to be seen. It could just be something that they do for this year. Maybe they'll change it up next year. You never know. Let's see. Julio is in the chat. Julio, I hope you're doing well. Julio says, "What's up, guys? Let's go." I hope you're doing well, by the way. Stevie Weeby says this is all a simulation, and you never know. Maybe we're just yeah, exactly. The Matrix in the background. Every time you visit Sideshow, it's gonna be the Matrix. We got Big Dog Pound in the chat. Chris, without even being here, Chris has probably got the belt in hand right now. He probably bought one on vacation just for you, Big Dog Pound. I hope you're doing well, Big Dog Pound. Great to have you here as always. And TX Boy brings up the Attack of the Clones line. He says the full Attack of the Clones line is going that route already. And we're going to take a look at some of the pricing on the Attack of the Clones stuff because that was one of the main reasons I put them on the thumbnail, because I was looking at pricing on them and I'm like, wow, those are actually starting to climb pretty quickly. So I definitely want to take a look at those a little bit later in the stream. And OG says that Sideshow is waitlisting items at about a month before the originally offered payment plan starts. It was very interesting. I didn't look at them down to the payment plan level, but yeah, the stuff is moving pretty quickly. Sean, by chance, did you find when She-Hulk originally went up for pre-order?
Yeah, she was announced on December 7th, 22.
December. Okay, so
5 full months.
See me? Everything just flashed for a second. Can you see me?
Did you? Yeah, you froze up.
I'm good now?
You're good now.
Okay, yeah, I just saw everything refresh. I'm like, what is going on?
Dawn said that was a good 5 months.
Okay, yeah, so I mean, that's about, we talk about, and I remember Nate was the original one, Nate and Don were the original ones that bring this up, that kind of like 4 to 6 month pre-order cycle that we can expect right now, and it seems like that one about lines up, whereas the Avatar figures, I feel like they went much quicker than that. I mean, I don't have the exact date off the top of my head. I don't know if you have that in your list, Sean, but I feel like the Avatar quickers went much quicker. And yes, Julio, I did hear about the 92 Penguin and Catwoman. I know that everybody was saying that photo of the Penguin was nightmare fuel with just the naked torso blurred out. Mars also said that he's actually done Catwoman, so I guess once he dreams up his prototype with everything that he's finished, we'll be seeing that sooner than later. So that's very exciting to me. I did see those. I'm very excited about that. And Mike says, it's all a good thing. I don't mean good in the sense that some people will miss out, but good for keeping the business alive as opposed to dead stock. And yes, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, you kind of have to think of it from both perspectives, both as a business and a collector. As a collector, of course, we would love to see this stuff sit in stock forever. We can get deals on it. We can wait for the 30% off, you know. But as a business, and we've said this many times, Sideshow's looking at their dead stock just sitting on the shelves, and they don't like having to basically give these figures away at cost, you know. I mean, some of these figures, they're still sitting, and they had 30% discounts on them. So I think Sideshow is certainly tired of that. I don't know about you guys, but when I look at it, I'm like, Sideshow is certainly sick of doing the 30% off discounts. It's not making them the money that they expect. They're not getting the margins that they should be selling Hot Toys. So I think they just kind of took a look at their business as a whole over the past year, and they're like, how can we make things better? And I think that's what they're doing, you know. So it's not alarming to me at all that they're going that route.
So all the Avatar stuff was announced January 13th, 23.
Yeah, so that's another quick one. I mean, it's like about 6 months now that we have to pre-order these figures. So it's something you definitely have to keep an eye on, guys. I know there's been a lot of speculation, and there always is going to be, because obviously nothing in this hobby is concrete, right? It's like one day one thing could happen. And we mentioned earlier as we started the stream that sometimes stuff will, over the weekend, go waitlist. Everybody rushes to pre-order, and then boom, it's back on Monday. I mean, you know, that happened with Casca Reeves. It happened with Cobb Vanth. It's happened with multiple figures. They went to waitlist, came back on Monday. C-3PO, that even happened with C-3PO before he went waitlist a second time. So it certainly does happen sometimes. Nothing we're saying is concrete, but certainly not everything is the same. You know, it really is a figure-to-figure basis. You have to keep an eye on it. This last chance page, I don't know about you guys, Don and Sean, but do you guys check this regularly now that things are changing? Are you constantly checking this like at least once a week to say like, oh, what's changed on here, you know?
No.
We lost Don. I'm sure he'll be back, but
Don didn't want to answer that question.
Yeah, Don's like, I'm not pre-ordering anything. I'm hopping off. See you guys.
I'm not answering your questions.
Right.
His lawyer told him, just get off right now. Right. Anyways. Yeah, I don't really come on here that often and look. If I'm watching a YouTuber and they say something that's interesting, I'll hop on.
Mhm.
Yes, welcome back, Don.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Um,
My thing just flipped for whatever reason too. So, all
That's all good.
right. So, what was
but
the question? Oh, sorry.
it's okay. But looking at it, it's kind of interesting. Like Crosshair was announced on October 14th. That just became waitlisted this month, right?
Yes. Recently,
Yeah.
yes.
So that lasted about 7 months.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Um, but the whole time frame and everything, I don't think the time frames are really staying steady. Where we're seeing stuff between 5 to 7 months go waitlisted. But out of all the stuff that is on Sideshow's website, there's only 20 items of Star Wars stuff left that you can actually pre-order. Everything else is waitlist. That's a pre-order. So you can't order anything unless you go on waitlist, minus those 20 that you can. So I wonder how soon those will burn up and go waitlisted or no longer available to order.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing with these wait lists is we've even seen it, and it's like our formulas are just falling apart, right? Because before we're like, okay, well, these figures are old pre-orders. We kept using those terms, old pre-orders, and that was applying to a lot of them. But then what happened with Mando, Luke, and Ahsoka, right? Those were old pre-orders. And then what happened once they were about to release? Waitlisted. So that's the other thing, guys, and I totally understand the skepticism with all of this because it's difficult to predict. And Ryan had mentioned it before on a previous stream. It's like Hot Toys is very unpredictable right now, very. And it's like we can pay attention to the lessons we've learned from the past, but it doesn't always apply to everything. It's not all cut and dry, you know? And that really threw me off guard was the Mando, Luke, and the Ahsoka. When they went to Last Chance right before they were about to start shipping and then they sold out, I'm like, okay, there's something to this right now. You know what I mean? That threw me off completely. Because, as again, we kept saying, like, old pre-orders, like, they'll be fine. You know, Nate from Geeking Out, he was always saying, like, oh, those are old pre-orders. I'm gonna ride it out. I was saying, those are old pre-orders. I'm going to ride it out and try to get a deal. And it's like, Sideshow's like, nope, psych. Because you know what they probably did? They probably hit up Hot Toys and like, hey, we were just kidding about those 10,000 units of Mando Luke. We actually will just take what people have pre-ordered, you know? No, obviously that didn't actually happen, but
Yeah, exactly.
right, it didn't actually happen, but you know, it's really crazy how it's working right now. Now, my next question, and guys, I'm about to put up a poll up. This is for you all in the chat as well. The question is, and I'm putting it in the poll, is to pre-order or not to pre-order. So the current question that I have for the panel, and I'll answer first as well, should you pre-order right now? And as we're asking that question, I'm going to pull up the waitlisted figures so we can see really what everything is, how many figures are being waitlisted and what is on waitlist. And there's a lot of them, guys, a lot of stuff that has not yet been released. So the question is, do we need to pre-order? Now, for me, guys, my mindset currently is if it's something that I really want, right? I really want it. I'm like, I cannot miss out on it. I have to have it. I'm going to pre-order it. And that's just for my own personal standing on things. I don't want to miss out. If it's something I really like, perfect example for us, Don, is like a figure that I had to pre-order, RoboCop, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was like a blessing figure for us. If you're a RoboCop fan, never in a million years did I expect to get another RoboCop figure anytime soon. So like that's one of those
Or
figures.
the third one with the actual jetpack
Exactly,
and
with
the cannon arm
and everything, right?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's like we never expected that, right, Don? So for me, I'm like, for figures like that, where I'm like, if I miss out on it, I'll be very upset. I have to pre-order them, and that's just how I'm running things right now. There are some figures where I'm kind of interested, but I don't necessarily need to have it on pre-order. Those I'm skipping on. I'm waiting to see what happens. But for the most part, if it's something I want, I'm going to pre-order it just because I know it's not going to last long on pre-order, especially if you buy from comic shops. And we're going to bring up comic shops in a little bit. But if you buy from comic shops and you rely specifically on comic shops and you don't buy from Sideshow, their stock is even more limited. A shop that we often talk about, guys, Off the Racks, and I was talking about this with a few people in the Hot Toys hotline chat. Their stuff is going very fast. Like oftentimes, like the Darth Sidious, for example, he sold out day one on Off the Racks. Darth Vader Deluxe from Return of the Jedi sold out day one on Off the Racks, and he got a second batch of them because they sold out so fast. So well, I guess we'll go to Don next. It's Don. I had you talking. Are you seeing yourself having to pre-order at all? Or are you just kind of riding the wave and seeing what happens still?
I mean, it depends. It depends on the figure, it depends on the line, and it depends on what iteration it is. Now, granted, for me, there are some figures like you that are immediate pre-orders, like RoboCop, especially with the timed bonus of getting the battle damage chest plate. Then I was iffy on the Bad Batch. Then once I got Hunter in, and I'm like, screw it. I got then I'm like, I'm gonna get Echo. Then when I got those two, I'm like, okay, I'm committed. So then I waited, and I didn't wait. I went and dropped the pre-order for Crosshair, and then I'm waiting for Rekka and Tech. And when they came, that was an immediate day one pre-order. Like Vader, Emperor's Wrath Vader, that was an immediate pre-order because I have said so many times.
I was about to say, you dreamt that one up, Don. You had to get that.
Well, that was, again, Hasbro did that in their Black Series. But I just wanted to see it upscale to the, proper 1/6 scale.
Right. That's fair. I mean, and that's a smart way to go about it, right? Because it gets dangerous. Because if you just start pre-ordering everything you see and you're not 100% certain on it, you're going to dig yourself into a big hole, right? So I think at the very least, I think that's the best way to go about it, Don, is pre-ordering the stuff that you have to have. And then the other things you're like, you know what, I'll wait. If I decide I want it, I'll take a chance and see if I can get it for retail, because at the end of the day, guys, I like this comment from Kaiju and also that comment from Tremble. Hot Toys is very unpredictable, like I said, and like we've said many times. So it's not going to be in your best interest to try to predict what's going to happen. Just kind of safeguard yourself. If you want something really bad, I think it's safe to say it's worth putting down a pre-order. But Sean, I'm curious to hear your thoughts, because especially you, because you often army build troopers. So pre-ordering kind of becomes very important for you, especially because obviously this stuff moving very quickly, you have much smaller of a window to kind of build up however many amount of troopers you want to get. So I'm very curious what your thoughts on pre-ordering are in the current market right now.
I don't think people should wait anymore. I know that was a tactic that was used to wait and then order, and at the time it worked. But it doesn't work anymore. So, like, when I see something and I want it, I already pre-order.
Yeah.
I don't wait on things. Like, clones, for example, I'll order 6 on day one, and then I'll go to other sources, like my local comic shop, and ask to order 6 more or whatever. But I do it smart. I don't hold off and wait, because then you're going to go that phase of, oh, I should have gotten more, at this time. And not to mention, it's all percentage games with Sideshow. Within the first, I don't know if it's the first 30 or 60 days, how many people pre-order, and then they have a percentage that they add on top of that number, and that's going to be their max amount of order that they do with Hot Toys. Like, for example, Captain Rex, they ordered 17,000 Captain Rex. So you can imagine the insane amount of how many people pre-ordered him within the first 60
And that
days.
Chrome Mando too, dude. I mean, obviously that was during COVID, but probably over 30,000 easily. They did on those easily.
The Chrome Mando?
The original Chrome Mando, the original Beskar Mando. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the original Beskar. Beskar. Okay. So
yeah.
I know both me and Nate got numbers. So effectively there was like around 30,000 total units. 10,000 of the normal units that and then 20,000 of the actual deluxe units. And again, so we're talking 30,000 units. Then while that is in stock, then they announce the actual full chrome with the accessories from the down swoop bike.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, like you're saying, you can't count on Sideshow to be anything but irrational, because unfortunately, the way we're living in now, I mean, they probably, Howard Chan would probably like to release everything under the sun, well, except for Mr. Solo. But
right.
But again, like anything else, you have to look at what the market is dictating first and foremost. What is popular? What is going to sell? And when you take that into account, you don't think about what's going to sell in the U.S. Because again, as all of us keep reiterating, we are a secondary market. The main market for Hot Toys is Asia, that general area. And with more of the Star Wars stuff picking up in that area again due to Mando catching on, they're going to gear more to what is popular there, more so than what we want. Now, I mean, again, we would love an Akbar for Return of the Jedi, but is it going to sell in Asia?
Hell yeah, that thing
it could
would.
not. But no, I'm just saying as a hypothetical. But then would they attempt a General Calrissian? See, because of what that sell. I mean, you got it for each potential thing. You have to offset what is going to happen and what's not. Then, if they're going to find that there's ways to make it, then they're going to look how much is it going to cost. What's R&D? Is there soft goods involved? Is it hard plastic? Is it molding? So, I mean, a lot of times they're probably going to go for the easiest bill. A lot of the times, we're seeing these repaints or these variants, stormtroopers. And again, nothing's wrong. Like everybody loves clones, especially, different units.
Exactly.
Those are easy. Those are basically cash flow generators because they already have the mold. They already have the base, material for that white. And then they just got to have somebody paint, and then they don't have a head sculpt. But then you get the weird thing, like you get the chrome figures. So, and those are more work, but even those, the QCs they're iffy. But I mean, and that's like you're saying but half the time that's what makes a figure, a grail, or which resells that value is the uniqueness to it or that limited aspect.
Exactly. Yeah. And even like a really random one that caught me off guard was the Purge Trooper, right? Because that one waitlisted and now the Purge Trooper's released. Mine's on the way. And that was one that one did not surprise me at all because, everybody wants excuse me, I was about to say 212. Everybody wants that Purge Trooper with the airborne helmet from Jedi Fallen Order / Jedi Survivor. So a lot of people were like, ain't no way I'm buying that Purge Trooper. But that one came out very fast. That was a very quick release. And I don't have it in hand yet, but it looked pretty good. And I'm very curious to see what happens with that one. It's either it's going to go up because there weren't many pre-orders, or people aren't going to care about it because it's not the Purge Trooper they want, and it's just going to sit at retail or less forever, And that goes back to what we were talking about. Like, it's very unpredictable. We're not trying to tell you guys this figure is definitely going to be worth money. This is definitely going to be worth money. It's all speculation at the end of the day. I do like what Tremble Dust said here, by the way. He said, if you want a figure, pre-order it. Don't play around, but not every figure needs to be pre-ordered or bought right away. And I totally agree. Again, that's the mindset that it seems like most of us are sticking to. If it's something that you're like, I have to have it, pre-order it, I mean, some places, believe it or not, do give your NRD back. I've seen some comic shops out there that do that. But even with Sideshow, if you're kind, you reach out to them, they'll move your NRD to something else if you really end up not liking the figure. I don't know about canceling and fully giving it back. That's hit or miss. But if you're like, hey, I'd rather have this figure, could you move it to this one? They're willing to work with you on that, I've noticed. So it's not always the end of the line if you cancel a figure that has an NRD. You can always reach out to Sideshow before you cancel and maybe make a little deal with them, because obviously they would love to keep your business and love to see you pre-order another figure instead of just completely canceling it out altogether. So I would definitely highly recommend that if you're considering canceling a figure and maybe getting a different one. It's definitely worth reaching out to them via email and or calling them if you buy from Sideshow. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm just catching up on a lot of the comments because we got to talking. I'll pull up the next question and then I'll read some comments and then we'll get into this topic. As we're looking at these waitlisted figures, guys, we talked about the Attack the Clone stuff, right? So again, I'm gonna read the comments, but I'll give you something to think about and then we'll answer the question. Are these waitlisted figures coming back? We've had enough time to look at some of the figures that have been shipped. We have the standard clone trooper from the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones. We have the clone pilot. We have the R2-D2. So that's the question I posed you. Are these figures coming back? And do you foresee some of these other figures coming back? Some of these more recent wait lists, like the R5-D4 and Pit Droid. I'll give you guys a chance to think about that. Oh, Owen wants to comment. Okay, guys, before I read your comments, Owen wants to jump in with us, so give me 1 second.
I can send it to him.
Okay, thank you, Sean. I appreciate you. So let's read some comments, guys. I know the comments are piling up. I love reading your guys' comments. Treble says, I actually have to ask Big Bad Toy Store if they would move a pre-order for me. I canceled a figure. I hate to do it, but they said they can rebuy a fig if I want, and the NRD will apply. I don't want to rebuy a fig. I understand that. I will say I've had very good luck with Big Bad Toy Store's customer service, not only just for Hot Toys stuff, but for 3.75 scale Funko Pops, whatever I buy from them. So I'm sure they'll take care of you. Let's see. TX Boy says, I don't think stuff is coming back anytime soon. If you want something, speak with your wallet. And certainly with what we're seeing right now, excuse me, I said TX Buy. I'm talking about buying. Certainly with what we're looking at right now, it seems to be the best course of action, in my opinion. And there we are. We got Owen from In the DTOF. And Mr. Mom says, and I say no. Real quick, guys, we have 72 people watching on a Tuesday. Thank you so much, guys, for being here and hanging out with us and having this great discussion with us. If you haven't already, please consider dropping a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Of course, I would very much appreciate it. But thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with us. It's awesome to see you all here. And Wayne Timothy says, no, they're gone. But Owen, it's great to have you here, bro. When I saw you in the chat, I'm like, oh, perfect time to bring in Owen. He hasn't been on for a couple weeks. I'm gonna snipe him. Sorry, I didn't realize that my Facebook Messenger was closed, so I didn't see if you messaged me.
No, it's all good.
But...
all good. I was enjoying the show.
Awesome. Yeah, but we're talking about, obviously, you've been watching us. We're talking about figures going to Waitlist, the values changing. I know you buy and sell a lot of figures, so you definitely have a good input on what the values are, especially on some of these newer figures. 8-Bit Flea says, bro, way late. I don't know if I'm way late or I don't know who's way. Maybe it's me. But OG says, I consider the NRD lost. I don't even ask for it back. It's the VIG for holding my spot. I always buy another figure. And that's fair. That's fair. So, like I said, sometimes I try to sweet talk Sideshow. I hit them up. I email them. I say, hey, you know what? I don't really want this figure anymore. Could I get this one? I don't cancel orders very often. But when I do, I try to work it out in my favor, you know. 8-Bit says me. Now, you're never late, dude. You're always on time, like I always say. But, guys, the question was, and Owen, I kind of posed it before we started. Okay, guys, you know, as I'm about to get into the question, my friend Chris, the Collecting Madness, is dropping a $10 super chat. Number one, I very much appreciate that, dude. I know you've been spending a lot of money on your honeymoon. I know you've been telling me all the stuff you've been buying. So, yeah, I very much appreciate that, dude, spending $10. And of course, because our favorite UPS man just donated graciously $10 to me, we have to get a message from the UPS man himself. So, guys, give me 1 second as we listen to this message from our favorite UPS guy.
Now, son, you make sure you get them hot dogs packed in there.
Super chat.
What's that?
Super chat.
Oh. Hey there. Heard you gave us a super chat. Well, Hot Toys Hotline and I just want to say thank you very much.
Talk about Inception, right? He donates and then he gets a donation message from himself. That's total Inception if I've ever seen it.
It's Jim Bob the Brown Knob. He's into that stuff.
That's right.
He'll probably give you another one just to see himself again.
That's true, because we got to remember, Sean, those are two different people. This was a donation from Chris, but then that was Jim Bob. You're right. That was Jim Bob the Brown Knob.
Yeah.
Chris also said early B-Day, better play. Yes, guys, my birthday is on Friday. So thank you, Chris, for the early birthday present of the $10 donation. I very much appreciate it.
Oh, you have birthdays?
I do. I do have a birthday, Sean. Believe it or not, I'm not an alien. I'm a human being. I do have a birthday.
Why would you go there? Why
you gotta bring up?
Why would you say something about being an alien?
It's a soft subject. I know, Sean. It's a soft subject. I know.
Are you okay? Do you want to talk about it?
I'm all right, Sean. I'm all right. I'm hanging.
Are you sure?
I'm hanging in there. I'm good.
I notice you're avoiding talking about your parents in your time of need.
I know. I'm glad you caught on to that. All right. Yeah, exactly, Don. Just shake your head at him. That's all you can do with Sean sometimes. Before we answer our question, I'm going to read this last comment. Guys, I know there's a lot of comments piling up. I'll try to get through them. I'm so sorry. Tom says, Sideshow had way too many figures that went to discount for the last few years. Stimulus money is over. People are not spending as much, and the wait lists are real. All the wait lists are real. And yes, obviously, there was a lot of new Hot Toys collectors when 2020 came around. Everybody was getting that stimulus money, and then everybody sold off their figures, and we are what remains. We are the collectors right now that remain. So great point there. But guys, we're going to get into the question. Let me move us around here real quick so Owen's not covered up, because I kept covering up Sean last stream and I felt bad. But so the question is, guys, and we're going to start with Owen since Owen just got in with us. Are waitlisted figures coming back? And Owen, Sean, I don't know if that's your nose. Somebody is breathing into the mic. It's somebody. But yes, Owen. all these figures are going to waitlist. We saw the Attack of the Clones wave, that first wave of Attack of the Clones figures go to waitlist, and then we've seen them being bought and sold a lot on eBay and the recent buy-sell trade groups on Facebook and such. Owen, do you think any of these figures are coming back, or do you think like places like Sideshow are just going to kind of fulfill waitlist when they get cancellations or extra stock from cancellations? Or do you think eventually they're going to come back? A lot of people say, you know what? I think there's going to be a big mass restock of all these figures. That's a conspiracy theory that I've seen around, going a lot around on Facebook. So what are your thoughts on it, Owen?
I expected them to come back, like the Purge Trooper and stuff. I expected it when it came in stock. I thought that maybe they'd throw them back on the site, like next day shipping, but it doesn't seem to be the case. So, kind of caught me for a loop as well. I think we're just gonna have to play it by ear and see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, the Purge Trooper really caught me off guard because that one wasn't on pre-order for very long, and then it released. You know,
it was a quick release,
very quickly. And again, I don't have mine in hand yet, but from the videos and photos I've seen, it looks pretty good. You know, it doesn't look like it was like rushed and put out to where it lost quality. It looks pretty good. Again, that one isn't super surprising about the low pre-order numbers because a lot of people were like, seriously, this is the Purge Trooper you give us? And of course now with Jedi Survivor possibly getting a full line, a lot of people are like, you know what, I don't need that because I have faith that we're going to finally get the Jedi Fallen Order / Jedi Survivor Purge Trooper, which I understand because that is certainly the alpha of the Purge Troopers. Yeah. That's the one that I truly want. I did grab the Obi-Wan one, but the Jedi Fallen Order one is certainly the one to get, in my opinion. But yeah, well said. And again, it is something, guys, that we kind of have to wait and see. But so far, we do have enough data to say, okay, Attack the Clones, where those figures at? You know, everybody was saying those are going to be back on Monday. Don't worry, when all those Attack of the Clones figures went. But Sean,
yeah,
especially being that you picked up quite a few of the clone troopers and such from the Attack of the Clones wave. What are your thoughts looking back at it now, looking at the waitlisted figures? Do you think any of these are going to come back anytime soon?
No, I don't. I think there's some people that are getting waitlist conversions, but when you see those comments of people getting the waitlist conversion for the clone trooper, you're seeing a lot more people saying, I haven't gotten mine yet.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that are disappointed on it because they all thought this was going to be the next 501st or the Coruscant Guard. And it's not the same.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But the thing is, though, is I thought the same thing. Even though I ordered, a lot right away. I haven't even got everything that I've ordered yet for it. And then I believe it was Monkey Depot that did an announcement or an email or something. If I remember, if it's not Monkey Depot, correct me, please. That said that they're not receiving their clones until like October or something like that.
That's a big delay. Holy crap. October.
And that kind of ties in, and again, we'll talk about it later. Something else I was told that, we've spoken about before, and, from a store owner I know, but we'll get to that later. So
yeah, that'll be our next topic. Yeah.
Because didn't they just post on there that, because I remember now, you can order from Monkey Depot, you could order the clone troopers, so they got some more to pre-order. But it said that it wasn't arriving until Q4.
That's interesting.
Of 23.
Because a lot of comic shops did get theirs. Because I bought 3 of mine. They were all from different places. One was from Sideshow, 2 were from other comic shops. So that's very interesting.
My local comic shop has not received all of them that I ordered.
Yeah, see, I got all of mine from and this is really going to tie into what Don is going to talk to you all about very shortly, because it's kind of worrying, especially when the comic shops, because obviously, guys, we use the comic shops as our backups. Those that mainly buy from Sideshow, we use the comic shops as our backups, right? So,
or if you don't want to pay for shipping, go to the comic shop.
That's true. And a lot of comic shops, the whole cost is what you get. You don't get charged taxes, you don't get charged shipping. So, yeah. And Sean, apparently, 12-inch Moose Stream says I'm a dimensional creature more than human. I would like
That's
to think
hot.
that.
That's hot.
Okay. See, look what you did, Moose Stream. You're baiting Sean.
Dude, his name is 12-inch Moose Stream, and you don't expect him to post something like that? Come on. I mean, it's like 12 inches, he could lift a baby with that.
Oh my! Love sausage.
What am I gonna do with you, Sean? But real
Dude,
quick,
have you not seen Austin Powers where they're doing that thing?
I love Austin
You know,
Powers, Sean. I love Austin Powers.
Or The
Of course
Boys?
I've seen it. The best
With
scene
the
in
shadow?
Austin Powers, the best scene, yes, when they're in the tent and they're doing the little,
Yeah.
and he's pulling the stuff out. Yeah, the best scene in Austin Powers will always be the forklift scene when he's backing up, going forward, backing up, going forward. That's my favorite scene in all.
Did
all
you call
Austin
that thing a
Powers films.
forklift?
What I don't remember what it was, Sean. Whatever it was, a little.
It was a cart,
A
or
little
Yeah, it was a
transport
cart.
cart. Yeah, a little. Yeah, okay. It's been a minute, but anyways, I want to read Mr. Mom's comment. Thank you so much, Ryan. Of course, guys, Ryan was supposed to be here with us. He couldn't make it because his power went out. Very much appreciate the generous $5 donation, Ryan. Ryan says, wish I could be there, boys. Killer panel and killer convo. 70 plus watching. Make sure to show support to this killer panel. Mr. Mom has spoken. Absolutely, guys. If you haven't already, check out everybody's channels in the description. I would very much appreciate it. And just for Ryan, I will give him my cringy little donation message. This is just for you, Ryan, because I know it's your favorite.
We miss you, Ryan.
There you go. There's your daily dose of cringe, everybody. But thank you so much, Ryan. I very much appreciate it, bro. I wish you could be here, but I know you're here in spirit. But yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like, and the situation with the comic shops is very interesting. And again, when we bring it up with Don here very shortly, and Don, I kind of want to segue into you and kind of hear your thoughts on it. As you see a lot of these figures going to Waitlist, do you foresee any of them coming back, or do you think maybe Sideshow especially is just going to continue to kind of fulfill Waitlist figures for those who are on the Waitlist if there's cancellations or anything like that?
Is it coming back to general retail? No. As far as conversions, some people, very few people are going to get conversions because the only way people are going to cancel this is if they can't necessarily pay for it, like right now, and they can only delay it so many times because some people might just be standing onto it just to flip it when they get it. But the problem is they don't have the money to purchase it. And then they have to keep, potentially delaying it to a certain point where they can't do anything more. They either have to cancel or pay for it. So I'm thinking out of all the wait lists for some of these figures, you're talking less than 5% fulfillment. I'm so sure of that. I went and I got my R2 out overseas and should hopefully get it by, Thursday or Friday.
Nice. I mean, and Don, yeah, we talk about backups. I mean, now you got to have like a backup of a backup because again, these comic shops are drying up so fast. It's like that's kind of the route you have to go. You have to go to Hong Kong. You have to go to China, Australia, different places outside the U.S. because their stock tends to sit a lot more than it does here in the U.S. Obviously. So like, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised you had to go that route because R2 is another one that dried up very quickly. Again, like all of those Attack of the Clones figures, like C-3PO, I think was the last one to drop off, if I'm not mistaken. But all of those Attack of the Clones figures, they went very quickly and it snowballed, right? It's like Sideshow sold out, and that's when the feeding frenzy begins, right? Everybody's like, oh crap, let me go to Big Bad Toy Store. Oh crap, let me go to Off the Racks. Let me go to formerly Toy Dojo. A lot of different places people are running to try to grab these figures, and that's what happens once the demand is there, and everybody's like, well, maybe I should consider pre-ordering this now. That's when it starts to dry up. So you kind of have to take alternate means to get things,
Yeah. I mean, if for my situation, I'll be completely honest. I sat on this R2. Again, I was hoping for a Return of the Jedi version. Yeah. So C-3PO was announced. Obviously, I pre-ordered him with Vader the day it came out. And like a lot of people, we were expecting a lot of things to happen for, May the 4th. Now, granted, we did get some awesome figures. Yeah, and again, that's Sidious from Clone Wars. It is not from Revenge of the Sith. Again, we do not need freaking college theses on that. It's when he's fighting Savage Opress and Darth Maul from the Clone Wars. Good night.
So Savage Opress and Darth Sidious and Maul didn't fight in Revenge of the Sith?
You just broke his heart. Like, seriously, really?
Is that what happened?
Seriously,
no,
and Sean don't go in the same sentence.
I apologize. Okay, hang on. Let me pull my doctor hat on. Okay, Don, are you sure what you're speaking of is possibly true and misled by others?
I'm sure.
Of course, Savage and Darth Maul were not fighting in Revenge of the Sith.
Uh.
Why would you allow Sean to make those
I'm
comments?
sorry, Don. I'm sorry in advance, Don.
No, Don loves this shit.
He's
No,
a,
what
hey, he's a
Don
former
loves-
he's a former jarhead. I'm a former grunt. It's like
Uh.
literally, you put us two together, we're gonna cause more trouble with the just.
That's right. I was asking for it. But congratulations to Joe P. What we do like is that Joe P had his R2 ship. And Big
That's awesome.
Bretta, yeah, congratulations. It's a fantastic figure, dude. I think you're going to love it. Big Bretta is in here. He says, I was supposed to be invited for today's show. That's not true. Bretta, you know, I've multiple
invite
times,
him.
I'm like, dude, you can come in anytime. So Bretta, if right now at this moment you would come in, you know I would send you the link.
I think Bretta should come.
I would love you to come in, Bretta. But I know the time zone difference is rough, but he says, have a great one, guys. Follow my lead. Don't pre-order anything. It will all go to bargain bid or not. Look, Bretta, we know you got it good over there in Hong Kong. Everything just sits on the shelves. You guys still got quote unquote grails here that are just sitting on the shelves there. We know, dude. We know. And by the way, guys, hit Bretta up if you want to have your own personal Hong Kong Hot Toy shopper. I heard he would love to do it for you. I'm just kidding, don't do it.
I doubt that.
I'm just kidding. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
All of a sudden, like in 5 minutes, he has like 100.
He's gonna kill me. Yeah, guys, I'm just joking. I'm just joking, guys. I'm just joking. Jeff Eubank says just bid on the Avatar figures. Nice, dude. Like I know a lot of people aren't pre-ordering those, but you know, those that did, the very few of us that did, I'm sure we're gonna be very happy. But let me move on, guys. Also, we have Lane Kramer in the chat. What's up, Lane? Lane says, "Hey guys, hope everyone is doing fabulous. Purge Trooper arrived today. Congrats on that, dude." And Bretta did say, hey, Stevie said send the Addy. Bretta did say that the N1 was coming. I think that was last Monday he said that was coming. So Bretta, yeah, you're fake news, Bretta. You're fake news.
No, I still have hope in that N1.
I do too. We're just busting his balls, of course. But
so, speaking of the Purge Trooper, real quick, since Lane reminded me. So that was announced on June 30th, 2022. And then it was just released. So that's pretty quick. That's still within a year. And it was estimated to be released July through December. And then it came up early. And Don, I'm sorry. I cut you off.
No worries. It's your road. I'm just learning your tempo.
Ron, Don's just on his tricycle riding along the road. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, as far as these figures go, now, as far as the Purge Trooper, I'm actually I'm not a fan of that. But if you got that figure and then if you had Buzz Lightyear, you can almost do some like alternate display. Come on, it's the Zerg Trooper.
Everybody keeps calling, and it is true. It's very reminiscent. And we're never getting that Zerg because he was gigantic in Lightyear. But yeah, I mean, you never know. Some people
Zerg is Lightyear. Lightyear is Zerg.
Exactly.
Laces out.
Exactly. So, and this is just a blanket statement, but I just want to reiterate to you guys, and we're all kind of feeling this right now. Tough decisions have to be made and sacrifices must be made. I know Nate always talks about sacrifices, but it's true, right? I mean, there's so much stuff coming out. There's so many figures up for pre-order. I think was mentioned earlier. I think, Sean, you said there's still 20 figures that are up for pre-order, right? Did I remember that correctly?
So for Star Wars right now, with all the wait list and everything, there's only 20 items left that you can actually pre-order. So total, if we look at all the numbers, with everything that has not been released in from Hong Kong, from Hot Toys, okay, there's a total of 120 items. I know Sideshow shows 131, but some of those have already been released. So there's 120 total items that have not been released. However, out of those 120, 52 of them are waitlisted right now at Sideshow. Not everywhere else, just Sideshow, 52 of them. So that leaves only 68 things that you can actually pre-order right now while you hop on the waitlist train for the rest of them. Or you go find somewhere else.
Those numbers down. That's a significant portion of those pre-orders.
That means 68 that you can only order right now for pre-order. I mean, there's tons of in stock.
Right. Yeah, tons of it. And that goes back to what we were saying. That those tons of in-stock figures, that's part of the reason why they're probably making this decision, And Sideshow has come out and said, employees of Sideshow have said, we're tired of stock sitting. If it's on last chance, that is your last chance to get it. There's been multiple occasions where they came out and said that. I do agree with the people saying like sometimes the stuff seems like a bait and switch. I mean, you know, it's not a one fits all type situation, but one size fits all type situation. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot of figures, Sean. And again, that kind of goes back to what I'm saying about the tough decisions that have to be made, because no one, I would say most average collectors cannot afford to pre-order everything. You know, it's like you got to make decisions on what you want. The stuff is going so fast. It's tough because some things that you may really like, it might be from an IP that you very much enjoy. Even if you just collect Star Wars, you may not be able to buy everything Star Wars, you know? You have to make certain decisions. Again, that goes back to what we were saying. Pre-order the stuff that you really want, and then the other stuff, maybe if you have some extra money or if you change your mind on it later down the line, you can get it. Because, guys, the realistic thing is not everything that sells out is going to be worth a ton of money. So not everything is going to be very difficult to acquire on the secondary market. I don't foresee that happening for every single figure. Because, again, like perfect example, these Avatar figures, you never know. I mean, even the original Jake figure doesn't sell for that much. So those could sell for around retail, you know, or barely over retail. You never know.
But I'll be honest with you. Like when we had Denobi on with us last week, and he was talking about, you know, R2, and he's like, "Oh, have you gotten it yet?" I'm like, "No, I'm waiting for tomorrow. I've got a backup site." And he's like, "Well, you better act quick." And as soon as I didn't see anything, and I'm like, "I need to act now," because there's probably 30,000 other people who just, you know, had intentions of ordering C3PO, and they were waiting for this. So I'm like, I had to go to my backup spot, and at the time, I bought the last one. So, and it was like, now granted, total shipped price, everything out the door was $340, but it was like express priority international mail or whatever it is, you know. So in the long run, I'm paying, you know, a $40 I'm too late tax, which, you know, is not that bad. But now, since then, his price in some places is now going over 400.
Yeah, and what I've noticed too, especially some resellers, is even resellers, and Owen, you may have noticed this, some resellers are like hiking up their prices. Even 1/6 Kit, who I very much buy from all the time, and I support them, and a lot of people who watch the channel, he's got Iconic Ryu listed for $380 retail. And he's raised that price twice now. I think it was originally $320 or $330. He raised it to $360, and now it's up to $380. So even a lot of these resellers who usually sell everything for retail, because the stock is so scarce, some of them are realizing, like, you know what, maybe I need to charge a little bit more because this stuff is so hard to get. Now, of course, Kit is not doing that across the board, but for certain figures, you know, some of these companies are like, why don't we make a little bit extra money off of it? You know, that's just how it is. That's part of the game. Especially when you're a Hong Kong-based reseller, it's kind of all out in the open field in that regard. So,
yeah, I've definitely noticed that because I only order from Hong Kong because Sideshow sucks for the UK. But
yeah, the shipping is absurd. I remember you
horrendous.
telling me that.
But the I've noticed that the prices for Hong Kong resellers, they start higher than Sideshow, and then once Sideshow releases theirs, the prices then go down below Sideshow so they can keep selling stuff. And then at the moment, because things are selling out on Sideshow, that price that started off higher than Sideshow, it stays the same. And it just maintains that price, and then it'll go up and up until, I guess, they've probably got too much stock, and then it goes back down. But it just seems to be higher for longer compared to what it used to be.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see because, again, like when you buy from a lot of these resellers, you expect to get things for retail when they're still in stock. Like, but once Ryu, that's just the example I'm using, once he started drying up, I saw Kit was like kind of slowly raising the price because I guess he realized like it was very difficult to get. And not only that, it is a bigger box, so you got to factor in shipping too. He probably realized it wasn't
heavy
worth
too.
it to sell. Yeah, heavy as well because of that steel body. And yes, Louise says perfectly here, the Norman Osborn meme. Do you know how much I've sacrificed? I love it, dude. Like that just applies so much right now to what's going on with Hot Toys. I love it, dude. Barrett says hashtag not my I know, dude. Especially because you got that Jedi Survivor profile picture. I'm not surprised that you said that. I don't know about you guys. Sorry, I'll go back to your comment, Mike. Moose Stream says, Connor, I could hear you. I could hear Sean. I could hear Owen, but not you. Sean, but not you. I don't know who he can't hear. I'm confused.
Don,
Don, maybe? I could hear Don. Can you guys hear Don? Oh, he can't hear me.
Oh, Yeah, he's saying Dawn and like Dawn.
He said,
instead
Connor,
of
I
Dawn.
can't. Guys in the chat, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
I know you guys can. I'm curious, can people in the chat hear me?
I can hear you, and I've got your stream running.
Okay, so I'm not sure, Moostream. That's very weird. I'm not sure why I'm not coming through for you.
You're
Although
a freaking part of the lizard people. That's why. I'm going to have to jump with Sean.
Maybe that's why. Everybody's saying I could hear you. I don't know.
Euler said, bring back the nose whistle.
I know. Oh, by the
way. Bring back the what?
The nose whistle.
About when you were breathing, the nose whistle.
Let me get to my microphone.
Oh, and by the way, your camera.
Oh, my camera's frozen.
Your camera has been frozen. I forgot to tell you. That's messed up.
For how long?
That is messed up. He said, unfortunately, yes. That's messed up. Billy says something is wrong with the audio. Oh, I'm not sure. Everybody's saying they can hear me. Everybody who's having audio issues, do me a favor and try refreshing, and we'll see if that helps. Owen is now moving. We got Owen back. Sorry, Kinky, as much as you would love that, I have shoes on right now. I can't show you my feet. Maybe another time, dude. Maybe another time. Control Delete. Everybody can hear me loud and clear. Awesome. Thank you guys for confirming that. Sorry. It must be affecting some people. It seems like it's not only you, though, Moostream. But yes, guys, we'll move on to the next topic again. Tough decisions must be made, and it's very clear, and it's not just for us on the panel, it's for all of us, right? Everybody needs to make tough decisions because you can't, at the end of the day, as much as you would like to, you can't buy everything. You know, it's crazy coming from me because I like to pre-order a lot, but you can't buy everything. Now, this is a topic that I would like to discuss, and this is something that Don actually brought to our attention in both the Geeking Out Facebook Messenger group as well as the Hot Toys Hotline one. Don had shared with us something, and I'm going to let Don tell you about it, but it's regarding a stock situation with a very well-known comic shop that has been servicing probably a lot of you all for a long time, because I know it's one that's very near and dear to Don. So, Don, could you share with us kind of what you found out recently about this comic shop in question?
Yep. And again, Lane, if you're here, you're gonna you probably have an idea about this. So I've been dealing and shopping with Toy Dojo for a very, very long time. Hell, even before he did his remod and his name change, back to Ed Bomber Toys. So and we have got stuff from him. We've done prizes with contests, and we've done association with them. And he's a legit smaller own shop. So again, we like to try to promote those when we can. So
course,
ultimately, and again, he had to send an email out to people who pre-ordered the Clone Trooper. And ultimately on that situation, Sideshow kind of informed him he might get allocated on the Clone Troopers because Sideshow might not have enough to send him on his order. Then I start talking to him this past Friday. And basically the long and short of it is, one, he's not putting up pre-orders right now because he can't get actual solid information about pre-orders and numbers. And part of that was he had no idea that Sideshow was cutting down on the orders that they're going to place. And that overall, it seems that Hot Toys is cutting down either total number of batches or runs in a batch. And even further, going forward, there is a good chance that some figures, not all, like 90% of supposedly what he's getting in, there's not going to have an issue. And again, that's from pre-orders already placed. But there's going to be some figures that have the potential to be allocated. And that's not him. That's Sideshow basically saying, we don't have enough to fulfill your initial order. So, ultimately, it sounded like a little bit like an airline situation where on some figures, they're estimating based on either 2022, actual 2022 or 2021 numbers, but they didn't adjust it in time, or they're essentially overselling.
Yeah.
And anything that, because they probably thought, with a normal figure, they're going to have their base numbers and they're going to have extras for parts, for replacements. Doing it
for years, so they expect a certain amount typically, right?
Exactly. So it almost seems like certain figures are being oversold, whether that's the popularity, whether that's just a general issue with the stock numbers, or Hot Toys for whatever reason could be saying, okay, we had an issue, or we can't produce anything more after this for whatever reason. So that there's other outside influencers that could affect Hong Kong and what they can actually produce there. So I mean, it's either one or the other or a combination of the both. But don't be surprised, again, if certain figures are going to get allocated by certain stores, and it's not the store's fault. It's because Sideshow doesn't have the numbers to send them.
Exactly.
And again, the only other time I can remember anything close happening to this in recent time is the Mud Trooper. Remember, the Mud Trooper sold out before it even got into stock. I talked to Toy Jojo. I had one on order, and I asked, hey, is there any chance you could get any extra? And he flat out responded, no, Sideshow has allocated me. What I have is all I can get.
It's funny. I'll let you finish what you're saying. Sorry.
Yeah, but that's just the basic gist of it, is that, I mean, again, I don't know the distribution contracts, because it's probably set up individually with each store, but I don't know if they're developed or there is like a tier system to pay, depending on how many orders you place or what, sales you produce. But I mean, the smaller places might be seeing smaller numbers because in the long run, they don't order as much. So they're not going to be getting those numbers in the long run. So those limited numbers are going to be cut, because in the long run, this is just a business decision, potentially Sideshow's going to have to service the higher end clients in terms of numbers moved overall, units moved.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not personal, but they got to look at where are they going to get the more back end profit from.
Exactly. Yeah. And Don, going along with what you're saying, I have another example, and it just came to my mind when you brought up them not, Toy Dojo not being able to get more units of the Mud Trooper. There were some people in the Discord that were talking about, hey, is it possible Off the Racks could get more of the Attack the Clones stuff, like the Wave 2 stuff, because they were sold out of the battle droids and everything like that. The super battle droids, because obviously we know the Wave 1, that's done and over with. But so I reached out to John from Off the Racks, and I was like, hey, is it possible you could get any more battle droids, any more Mace Windows? I'm like, I know I would get my second Mace Windu from you. I would get some battle droids from you. And he flat out told me, he's like, no, it's not possible. He's like, I can't get any more, So it seems like to me, if they want more, they need to ask like very shortly after the pre-order initially goes up. Because when the Vader Deluxe first sold out, I basically reached out to him the following day and I said, hey, is it possible you can get any more Vader Deluxe? He's like, I'm working on getting more. And he did get more of those. But that just shows it's like they can't just hit up Sideshow whenever they want anymore and just be like, hey, let me get some more of these. Let me get some more of these. And that I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that brought that back up in my head. It's pretty crazy. And Owen, I'm curious because, again, you follow a lot of these Hong Kong-based resellers. Do you see a lot of them selling out quickly, or is it still kind of the same where they're sitting on a lot of stock like they do often in Hong Kong because the demand isn't as much there as it is in the U.S.?
It depends on the figure. But, like, for example, some of the ones that I've seen, they'll be getting just a lot of Cyborg, a lot of R2 and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and you can just see they've got piles of them. Versus some other figures, I can't think of any more recent releases, but some that they're only literally ordering like a few of, like a handful, because they don't want to sit on that stock as well. But for what I can see, it's things like Cyborg where they're sending them all to like the Western market, because not many people are getting them in Hong Kong.
I believe it, yeah.
But then Star Wars seems to be a little bit more 50-50 now, which it never really used to be. That used to be a Western market thing, but it's pretty interesting.
Star Wars is bigger than Asia now that we think, It's good. It's great to see, the more people watching Star Wars, the better. The more fans, the better. So, but yeah, that's interesting, Alan, because again, you have a unique perspective on that, because like you said, you only buy from Hong Kong-based resellers, so you're often browsing these websites and you're seeing that type of stuff. So it's
Don,
very
could I
interesting.
ask you a question actually?
Sure.
So you said that the Mandalorian, the original Beskar one, that had like 30,000 units, did you say?
Yeah, through Sideshow.
Yeah.
And I think it was and again, Nate, the actual host, it's his channel like Geeking Out, but me and him were essentially told the same numbers. So it was about 10,000 for the standard Beskar, and about 20,000 for the deluxe that came with all the extra bells and whistles.
What's a normal sort of number that they get? Is that higher than normal?
Oh, that's
normal.
Well,
is
again,
about
we had this.
5,000.
Yeah, during
1,000?
COVID.
5,000.
5,000.
Yeah, during COVID, the U.S. government issued stimulus checks.
Stimulus checks, yeah.
So not once but twice. So again, that's what some of us call now the stimulus effect.
Yeah.
So essentially, you got free money The Mandalorian just came out.
Not everybody got that money.
I like this comment here from Oilers.
25K.
Yeah.
They actually did just sell it out of the collector's edition, to be fair.
Exactly.
Wow.
Because I remember, because I was at New York Comic-Con in 2019 when they actually displayed the prototype Mando, but obviously they didn't put the Beskar pauldron on it. It was still the Shore Trooper one.
Sure.
So, and then it starts coming out like November, December timeframe. Then everything happens. So people are sitting at home. Then they're like, I love this. I love Baby Grogu. They got that extra coin in their pocket. Because again, Sideshow, you only got to put up that NRD. So that NRD is essentially everyone they got is like, it's like a light contract, so to say.
Yeah.
I'm putting up the money for you to secure my spot. But the problem back in the day was that spot actually meant a figure was going to get made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why, I mean, essentially, back then, at least the pre-orders were tied through Sideshow and into their initial estimates of what actual figures needed to get made. Now it seems like, again, it's just, okay, here's our hard cap. We're projecting these dates as our, blue screen, our cutoff, and then we have X amount for potential waitlist conversions and replacements. That's
exactly. It's certainly changed how they're doing
Like
things. For
Ahsoka,
sure.
they've already run out of the replacement parts.
Yeah. So it's
Well,
funny
the Clone
because
Pilot
Ahsoka,
too, they've already ran out.
Really?
you guys are, you know what? Let's actually jump to that topic now because that was actually one of the talking points, and I thank Sean for bringing that up before we started. I want to read this comment though real quick before we do that. AZ Fig says, having seen how the Sideshow dealer side works, they caution you if you want to order multiple cases. When a new item goes up for pre-order, distributors have to put in their orders within 2 weeks. Well, so that very much, and I appreciate that. Not only for you being here, AZ Figs, for sharing that insight with us, because that kind of explains, right, why I reached out to Off the Racks, and John was like, well, I can get the Vader, but then when I asked him about the other thing, he's like, that's not happening. So it seems like they do have a bit of a time window then if they want to get some more. So that's very interesting. So I very much appreciate you sharing that insight.
Yeah, because that's how it used to be before 2020 happened.
Right.
And then
exactly.
during 2020, comic book shops, small retailers were allowed to actually order stuff that was in stock, and that was never allowed before 2020.
Right.
And now they can't do it again. From what I'm being told here locally, they can't order stuff that's in stock on Sideshow. I don't know if that's everywhere else or what, but that's what I'm being told locally here.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. And Sean brought this up, and it was just brought up again by Owen about the replacement parts. And this is true. I've experienced it firsthand myself. Sean has experienced it. Many others have experienced it. The replacement parts, and guys, this is a big reason why a lot of people pre-order from Sideshow, because they know if a part's damaged, Sideshow's going to replace it. Or if something's wrong, Sideshow's going to take care of me. And they still will. But there is much more of a limit now on what they can do in terms of replacement parts. I've noticed recently, I've had a couple figures that have had issues. One of them, they said, hey, we have a replacement part for you. Here you go. The other one, they're like, I'm sorry, you either have to send it back and get a full refund, or we can give you some Sideshow rewards, what have you. So it seems like there is a bit of much more scarcity when it comes to replacement parts, too. And I'm glad Owen brought it back up because it kind of segued into this topic. But I don't know if you guys have experienced it firsthand. Again, I have. I've had 2 recent figures because I feel like QC has been kind of hit or miss lately with Hot Toys. But I've had 2 recent figures. My Clone Pilot, I was able to get a Phase 1 helmet replacement because mine was painted so bad. It had like chunky paint and stuff on it. But I can't remember the other figure I asked about, but they're like, I'm so sorry we don't have parts. And that figure was sold out, so I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll just keep it, because I'd rather do that than send it back because it was a very minor issue at the end of the day. But Owen, you brought up, let's talk about the Mando Ahsoka. What have you seen with the Mando Ahsoka? Because I know there was obviously a very obvious common issue with that one, but you experienced it personally, I think multiple times, right?
Yeah, as well as multiple people that I'm friends with. So it did seem quite common. One of my friends that did buy from Hong Kong, they managed to get a replacement Ahsoka. They sent a whole new one. It did take a while, but they did get it eventually. And then the other one who almost exclusively buys through Sideshow, he got offered the exact same thing like you with the Clone Pilot, where you could send it back or you could have a partial refund, and that was your only 2 options. And obviously having a second head option with a dodgy paint job versus one of the arms being snapped off in the box is a bit
Right,
different.
you can
so,
live with it, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So he did send it back, and then he got a new one, and it came broken anyway. So yeah, it seems to be a bit of a mess, but they probably went through all of their Ahsokas pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was rough. The Ahsoka was kind of like another mini DeLorean situation where everyone was having the same issue.
Yeah.
And what's up, by the way, Pornography? I hope you're doing well, bro. You didn't miss much, dude. If you've missed anything, there's a rollbacks on the stream so you can see everything. And what's up, Collector Joey? I hope you're doing well, bro. Good to see you here as always. Great to have you here. Hope you're doing well on this fine Tuesday evening. And I want to go back to this comment from Oilers, because Oilers, I'm sure you saw all the Funko Pops getting buried. So maybe if they don't sell out of those deluxe Mandos, maybe they'll get a 50% discount, or they'll just throw them.
Give them to charity.
Give them to charity, maybe. Yeah, maybe let a bunch of little kids play around with some hot toys. You never know. Enrolled Agent makes a good point here, and I'm guilty as charged on this one, by the way. Enrolled Agent, it says the market would be in a totally different spot if we all didn't FOMO and just waited until they did come to a current market. Yeah, at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and that's kind of in our nature with collectible items. You want it, so it's like I gotta pre-order. I gotta pre-order. It's something I want. I gotta pre-order it. So I definitely get what you're saying for sure. But guys, 84 people watching. Holy crap! Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We very much appreciate you, especially on the Tuesday stream, hanging out with us on this fine Tuesday evening. If you have not already, please like the stream and subscribe to the channel. I'd very much appreciate it. And we have Riley Reviews in the chat. What's up, Riley? I hope you're doing well, bro. Good to see you. Congratulations, by the way, to Riley. He just hit 2,000 subscribers. Absolutely killing it, dude. Congrats on that, and it's great to have you here, as always.
Awesome, Riley.
Absolutely, yeah, 2,000. That's a big milestone, dude. Congrats.
It is.
Tom says, I got lucky with Ahsoka. Mine was perfect. And dude, me too. But Owen, I have Owen to thank for the Ahsoka situation, because when his kept breaking, I'm like, dude, I am not bending those arms. I don't give a crap about the tips. People talking about I'm pulling the arms off. I'm like, I don't care. My arms are staying straight, and she's looking great. But yes, guys, be very careful with your Mando Ahsoka, because those arms are very brittle. It's very, very unfortunate, because it's such a beautiful figure, but those arms are so brittle. We have a $2 super chat from OG Fan. Thank you so much, OG. That's very kind and generous of you. He says, no FOMO when you dopo. I feel like some people don't feel that way. But as always, we got to drop you a warm welcome from one of our panel members. And fitting that he couldn't make it tonight, but he's still here for you all, guys. So we have a special message from Mr. Mom Collectibles.
Oh, man. Hey everyone, Mr. Mom Collectibles. I'm just taking a second out from busting some ghosts. I want to thank you for your donation to Connor and to the Hot Toys Hotline channel. And just remember, if you got a ghost problem, who you gonna call?
Not Ryan, because his power is out, right? Right? Too soon? Too soon? Maybe. But thank
Or coincidence or not? Poltergeist?
Right. Exactly. That's the other question that pops up. But yes, thank you so much, OG. And yes, no FOMO when you dopo, baby. Going along with what we were talking about with Ahsoka, Toybox says, so I stripped the Ahsoka I have and noticed a part of the molded plastic was still attached, preventing it from articulating. So pretty much have two Ahsokas now, just need the extra sculpt. That's interesting. Maybe that's part of the reason why some people were having issues. I haven't seen too many of them.
So, with that, it almost sounds like they used a piss poor mold release agent, or it failed.
Yeah, good point. That is very possible. And how could I miss? We have my boy, CSI Grism, in the chat. What's up, CSI? I hope you're doing well. And Misfit Wolf is here. What's up, Misfit? Misfit says, 81 people watching. Why aren't there 81 likes? I guess he meant hit that like button. Yes, guys. Again, if you haven't already, drop a like on the stream and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd very much appreciate it. But yes, guys, real quick, we're gonna close out with this topic. I know, Sean, you had an issue with the clone pilot, right?
I
and
did.
You weren't able to get a replacement part.
Yeah, so the piece of armor that goes over the groin and the buttocks area is, yeah, you like that, don't you? Anyways, so the left side of it ended up breaking, and I don't know how it happened.
He has no idea.
It was just
he wasn't
broken.
touching the buttocks or anything.
So I ended up Gorilla Gluing it. Sideshow couldn't do anything. They couldn't do a replacement. All what they could offer was for me to send it back.
Yeah.
And that was my options. And I just told them, okay, I'll just accept it as
Right,
is.
at that point, it's sold out. So it's like you have to make
Kinda
it work
stuck
if it's
with it.
not something crazy, you know?
You know, I'll never be able to sell it. You know, if somebody wants to buy it, and you know, if I choose to sell it, then I'll just sell it
$1.
up front.
$1.
I'd buy that
But
for
it's gonna
$1.
be. I bet you would. But no, so it's glued and it's, you know, it's holding together well enough. But as soon as I got that one side done, then the other side came apart.
Oh man.
And I think, however, you know, I have 4 of the clone pilots, so not a big deal. Just, you know, in my perspective, 25% of them have flaws.
Oh, it's battle damaged. He's seen
Right.
the shit.
Exactly. He fell on his butt during a battle and he cracked his arm, you know, something like that. You know, make it work. I like how that'd be seen as a subtle flex there, Sean. I mean, I have 4 of them, so you know, it's just no big deal. You know, just toss it on the side. No, I'm just joking.
Wait.
Right? He's like, yeah, no big deal. I told Sean before we started the stream. I told him yesterday. I'm like, dude, you should have all your clone pilots just sitting on your desk behind you.
There's some flex right there for you, baby.
Tickets to the gun show.
Right? Yeah. There you go, guys. That was a free one. That was on the house from Sean.
You know, maybe for one of the super chat things when I'm sitting by my fireplace, I should just start getting undressed.
Whoa.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike, for giving me an excuse.
Look.
We're cutting him off there, guys. We're cutting him off there. We give Sean a few. We give him a few. We got to cut him off there. We got a $2 super chat from Mike. Thank you so much, Mike. Mike says, great panel. Appreciate all the insight. Thank you so much, Mike. And as always, guys, as we always say, this is just our advice. Nothing is fact that we're saying. And of course, Kinky Sphincter is saying I'd do it because he was asking me to show my feet. So he's in that mindset right now. So thank you for being Sean's fan and for being my fan. But
yeah, show Brie Larson's feet.
Oh my lord! Oh, come on, guys. But anyways, thank you so much, Mike. And like I said, as always, this is just our knowledge that we've gained from the recent time here in the collecting community and kind of looking up everything and seeing how everything is working right now in terms of the pre-orders. So nothing is fact that we're saying. It's just based on what we're being, based on what we're being given. We're just sharing our thoughts on it. Of course, guys, you can find your own way, take some good advice from different people, and kind of make your decisions that way. But thank you so much, Mike. And I think we got to bring out another special message from our favorite UPS guy because I just love watching this one. And soon we'll have some more. Don't worry, we got some more in the works. Don't you worry.
Son, you make sure you get them hot doors packed in there.
Super chat.
What's that?
Super chat.
Oh. Hey there. Heard you gave us a super chat. Well, Hot Toys Hotline and I just want to say thank you very much.
Well, there you go, Mike. Thank you so much once again. And thank you, everybody, for saying awesome stream. And thank you, Pat. Thank you, Luis. That's very kind of you. We appreciate that. And Ash, I think that's shaving cream. I hope it is. I hope that's shaving cream. I didn't ask Ryan. You know, I think he was Boston Ghost. I don't know. Everybody, guys, don't worry. I'm going to get Chris to do more. I know Chris is the crowd favorite. There's no denying that. Chris is the GOAT. But I can't wait to see Sean's, too. You never know. And maybe I'll convince Owen to put, like, a Harry Potter costume or something on.
Oh, nice.
You never know. Maybe I'll convince Owen to do it. And then maybe I'll put on my Harry Potter costume. You know. Let's see. Next, guys, we're going to move on to
your
our
Harry
next
Potter costume Hermione's?
It's not. It's actually Harry Potter. I promise you, Sean. I promise you. But guys, moving on to the next thing. Now, what we're going to do for the final segment of the stream is we're going to take a look on eBay. And I know, guys, before everybody's like, eBay is not the only place to buy things. I know. But what eBay is good for is seeing trends in purchasing. You could see all of the recent sold listings, so you can kind of see what people are willing to pay for these figures outside of Facebook Marketplace and Facebook groups. This first figure, guys, really kind of blew me back for a second because I'm like, holy crap, is this figure really selling for that much? And I wanted to use this as an example because this is one that a lot of people probably didn't purchase because they're not familiar with the film, or maybe they're just not interested in Clint Eastwood as a whole. But look at what the Sideshow Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry Callahan is selling for. Okay, I mean, this really blew me away. This really put things in perspective for me. I'm like, it's obviously not just Hot Toys that they're cutting the stuff off early and the value is going up. This figure has been consistently selling for around $400 over the past almost month. I mean, it's crazy to see a figure that really is not very substantial for a lot of people, almost $400 consistently. At bare minimum, the $350 range. And again, this is a figure that a lot of people probably pass on. Owen, I don't know if you've ever seen this movie, but this really caught me off guard, this one in particular, because I'm like, I know the Sideshow figures sometimes can catch on, but this figure recently waitlisted, and there's other Clint Eastwood figures on pre-order still. So I don't know if you're as shocked as I am when I'm seeing this price here, but this caught me off guard, dude. Like $400 for a Sideshow figure.
How much was it retail?
I think $280.
Oh, okay, so that's a pretty significant.
Yeah, it's a pretty significant jump in a short amount of time because this guy, and I have this figure. It's pretty awesome, and some people had some choice things to say about the head sculpt because it does have that bit of like a caricature, which Sideshow did mention in the development of this figure, those videos they did with Clint Eastwood. But yeah, dude, I mean, from $280 to the $400 range that quickly, that's very interesting. And Sideshow did say that this line was pretty limited, but that caught me off guard, dude. I mean, that's a pretty hefty price jump from retail.
See, I'm interested in the Man with No Name more than this one.
Yeah, and I do. It's funny. I'm gonna pull that one up next. Now that you mention it, I do have that one. I think mine's shipping this month actually, but I have that one pulled up as well. And there's not many comps on it in terms of sold listings.
Sure.
But there is one recent one, and that is for $450. Now, I don't know how legit this is.
From China too.
So this is what I'm currently exactly from China. This is what I'm currently seeing on this listing, right? So on the 12th and before, we're seeing about retail, right, and what you would expect on eBay.
Yeah.
But then after this sold, all of the current listings are very high. They're all $350.
Trying to match that.
Right. So I don't know if that's going to shift the market on this figure as well, but I find it very interesting with these Sideshow figures. Another one, guys, that kind of caught me off guard, that this one has been waitlisted for a little bit, but this is another one that people kind of were hit or miss on. The Sideshow Ghostface.
Yeah.
$450, $375, $425. And this is another one people are saying this isn't accurate. It has these issues. It has those issues. But
Loose body.
Loose body. Yeah, that's typical for a lot of Sideshow figures, even though they are certainly getting better. But yes, yeah, $449, dude, for that Man with No Name, that Blondie figure. It's pretty crazy, man. And OG, yeah, I'm you know me and you, we're on the same page with the Clint Eastwood line. I think it's fantastic so far. I have the Dirty Harry with the Clint Eastwood, the Blondie on the way, and I'm really excited to check that one out because the first one I very much enjoyed. Was it perfect? Absolutely not, but I thought it was pretty fantastic, and I was happy with it for the price. But guys, it's crazy to see that not only Hot Toys is being affected by this, but other lines as well. And this is Sideshow. We know Sideshow sometimes gets a bad name in the 6-cal market. I've, for one, have said many times that the non-Star Wars stuff I've been very happy with. General Grievous, obviously. We don't talk about General Grievous. It's like you don't say Voldemort's name. We don't say General Grievous' name. But
how's the Sideshow Crow doing? Is that still available on Sideshow?
I think that one is still in stock everywhere. Guys in the chat, if you know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's still in stock because that is a little bit older of a pre-order.
Yeah.
But that's another figure. I love that figure. I did a review on it. I was very happy about that figure and still very, very much am. But it's very surprising to see these Sideshow figures going crazy like this.
I missed out on the Ghostface because I struggled to pay retail for it. I just couldn't. It didn't come with enough.
And then you're looking at it down, you're like, holy crap. And I think this one, the Ghostface, was a much lower retail. I think he was in the $220 range.
Yeah.
That was before Sideshow raised their prices significantly.
But
on
the new
figures.
Scream movie only came out recently, which obviously would have bumped it.
Yeah, that bumped it up for sure. Obviously, a lot of people are looking for a Ghostface, and without going that crazy custom route, there was like that company, I think it's Stilt Beast Studios, I think they're called, that Still Beast, something like that. They do like die-cast Scream knives and stuff like that. They did an actual figure, and that one's very expensive, so I'm not surprised.
I just look at that one and I see like Trick or Treat Studios being able to do similar sort of work for it.
That's true. Fad Gadget says, I have the Man with No Name and the head sculpt isn't the best. However, the tailoring is good. Yeah, and the thing is, Sideshow decided to go like part caricature, part realism. They said like 80-20, 80% realism. So you do have to take that into account. I don't know why they went that route. Not sure, but I am happy so far with my Dirty Harry. I have that one. I think it's excellent. I'm excited to check out Blondie. I think I'm going to be pretty happy with it, though. The only complaint that I think a lot of people had was doing that pose where he has the poncho flipped to the side. A lot of people are like, it doesn't exactly hold its shape. So, 12-inch Moonstream says, I bought my Dirty Harry from Sideshow already. Congrats, dude. That's all. It's a great figure. It really is. Next, guys, another one that's been certainly a very popular figure, especially recently, is the iconic Ryu. Now, this one, especially when Ken gets released, I foresee this one just kind of skyrocketing right off of that Ken release. But I mentioned earlier, 1/6 Kit does still have them. I think they have them listed for $380. But on eBay, guys, you can see we got a lot of over $400. We have 305 here. Obviously, you're going to have some mix-ins kind of going down on the average. $375, $58 shipping, $419 free shipping. This figure retailed for $289. Believe it or not, that is a considerable jump from that $289 price tag. So definitely a huge jump on this one. And again, this is a non-Hot Toys figure. This is a new company, Iconic Studios. This was their first figure. And they're already seeing a big price jump on the secondary market on their first figure. Now, this one is a big topic of discussion right now, guys. And I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. But now we got the Clone Pilot. And, of course, guys, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this one retailed for, what, $235, I want to say? I think it was $235 this one retailed for.
I thought it was cheaper than that.
Let me see. I'll check real quick. So
I think it was I thought it was $220.
$235.
Oh, okay.
Right on the money. Doesn't happen often, though, Don. I was right on the money.
No.
But, yeah, what are your thoughts on this, guys? I mean, this one is very interesting to me. And I'll tell you guys, I'll be honest with you. I had 3 Clone Pilots. I sold one for $330, and I sold one for $310, and I kept one. I went too hard on it, right? So I decided, like, you know what? I don't have the space for all these. I got really hyped on the Clone Pilot, so I sold the other 2. But just to give you guys an example of what I know they're selling for, and that was through Facebook Marketplace. The only reason I sold the other one a little bit cheaper because it was to a friend. I sold it to Dante, so I gave it to him a little bit cheaper, but. Typically, I had them listed for $330, and a lot of people were interested at that price tag. And honestly, I'm sure I could have gotten more, but that seemed fair to me with what I paid for the other 2 from the comic shops. They weren't like quite below $330, you know. So I think that was pretty fair. But you could see here on eBay, you have $289, $45 shipping with taxes and everything included. You're well over $300 on that. You're in like the $340 range with taxes and everything. Beyond that, actually, a little bit beyond that. $327. Again, you're paying taxes on eBay, guys. $329.99.
What's that?
Huh?
What's that?
Yeah, we know, Don. You got the magical no tax fairy. We're jealous. We're very jealous. Yes, Joss. I can't wait for Ken either. OG says if you squint like Clint, they look marvelous. Exactly. That's all you got to do. Zombie says I still need myself a pilot. Most likely going with Hong Kong. But where I've been looking, it's retail. Yeah, and that's the other thing. With Hong Kong, like Owen was saying, still a lot of this stuff is still sitting around. So, and Don got his R2 from Hong Kong, even though he nabbed the last one. I'm sure there's some Hong Kong-based resellers you can find this stuff for close to retail at least. Yes, what's your scary? I love it, dude. I love it. Penn says I still need to pre-order Super Battle Droid Fox and Jedi Scout Trooper. I have 2 of those pre-ordered. I do not have my Super Battle Droids pre-ordered. Believe it or not, I
would probably do that now, Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to pre-order those very soon. I found a website that's a bit cheaper than Sideshow. That's what I've been waiting for. But yes, guys, the Clone Pilot, $335, $286. Now, guys, for Sean, I think you got all you wanted for the Clone Pilot, right?
Yeah, I'm good.
But so I could see for people who especially were late to the game on these, it's going to be very frustrating to army build these because, again, the secondary market price is already starting to creep up. Is this astronomical? No. But it is interesting to see, and this is one of those figures, guys, that was part of that big pool of speculation where everybody was like, well, I don't know if this is real. These figures might come back. Once it goes to waitlist, they're going to put some more in stock, and that hasn't happened yet on this one in particular. It has not happened, and again, we're seeing them already start to climb up because there is very much a demand for this figure now because a lot of people, including myself, and I'm sure you, Sean, as well, I'm very happy with that figure. I think it's pretty awesome. I think it's one of the more interesting clones. Oh, for sure. It's very interesting, right? It's a very interesting figure to me. It's something different.
And my suggestion is if you want at least 2, just buy one that's complete and then look for one that's like parted out.
Yeah, you can get a body or something and throw the other sculpt on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what just grab the hands from the full one also and put them on that second one. And you should be good. Just look out for it. I know Monkey Depot, Toy Anxiety. They sell parts. There's parts on
Black Ops
eBay.
Toys.
Black Ops Toys. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been there for a while, so I don't know if they have it.
I haven't either. It's funny. They've kind of Toy Anxiety is always my go-to, which apparently is everyone else's now. Because
And Monkey
crap.
Depot is the backup.
But your boy, guess what I got from Toy Anxiety? They broke down a Dark Side Anakin, and I was able to get the boots and the tabards. So that because here's my, I love that figure. You guys know that's my #1 favorite figure in my collection. So I'm like, that's insurance for me. If my tabards randomly decide they want to start flaking, that's okay. I got another one. So I was like, screw it, dude. It was such a cheap price, too, for what those would really sell for. Because you guys know accessories get really expensive. I know Owen especially knows that because he's had to hunt some down for other figures. I think I paid like $20 a piece for those accessories. Like at that point, I'm like,
Wow,
dude,
yeah.
yeah. I'm like $20 for the boots, $20 for the tabards. I'm like, dude, I have to get it.
Yeah,
It's
you could easily have
insurance.
paid 60 just for the boots.
Oh yeah, easily, and for those tabards alone. So I'm like, dude, that's insurance for me for my favorite figure. It's worth it, you know. So, but yeah, Toy Anxiety's been breaking down a lot of stuff recently. The next one, guys, sticking with the clone theme, we're talking about the not shiny but the standard clone trooper. Most recent sold comp on eBay, which was today, $359, free shipping. Again, guys, that's $359. Look at Sean. Sean's just seeing dollar signs. He's like, wow, my collection's worth a lot. $359 free shipping. He said you already knew that. That's true. That's very true. $363.99 best offer. Or best offer.
No, they
shipping.
sold. Well,
They sold
again,
for the full amount.
Yeah, because if it was best offer,
Yeah,
they'd
yeah,
have
yeah,
more.
you're right. I started saying it and I stopped myself, but I should have clarified. It doesn't say or best offer accepted. So $363.99. That's Toys for Kidults, very legitimate seller. So I know that's a legitimate listing. $335, 50, and this is from China, guys. $335, $15 shipping. $320, $24.99 shipping. So even
What were they at retail?
I think around the same price. This one,
235.
I don't want to say I know this one. Let me see. Hot Toys clone. Or if someone wants to beat me to it in the chat, let's see. Of course, I Google Hot Toys clone and there's a million of them. Here we go. 230, guys. 230. 230. So even a standard vanilla all white clone, no specific battalion or anything like that, we're seeing very high sold comps for this one already.
100 profit.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And again, a lot of these listings are from China, which typically China on eBay, they're selling stuff a bit cheaper. They're a little behind on the market starting to shoot up. Most sellers, of course, we're not talking about Tim Cent because that man is ready to go every time a figure releases. But yeah, guys, there's some pretty high sold comps on this one already. So I could see how this gets very frustrating for especially collectors. Like if you're coming into the game right now and you're big on Attack of the Clones, this could be very expensive for you and very frustrating. So I get it. Zombie said I overshot. I said I can't even talk tonight, guys. Zombie, I overshoot all the time. Don't you worry. I've said it many times on stream. Sean, don't you say a word. Don't you say a word.
What?
I realize. Don't say it. Don't
What?
say it, Sean. But yes.
I'm just so proud of you. You're being
Oh,
such
my
a big
Lord.
boy now.
I know. I walked into that one. But it happens sometimes, dude. I've said stuff. I'm like, wow, I was way off on that. Like, I think when we were talking about how many Attack the Clones figures, the first number that came to my head was 13, and then it's 9. It's 9. So it happens sometimes. Exactly. It was the gears in my head. They were slowing down. They were grinding against each other.
Grinding against each other, huh?
Oh my Lord. Sean, what am I gonna do with you? All right, but guys,
Don't
also,
set me up for it.
That's true. It's my fault. It's my fault.
Hey, I mean, you set that up like Pippin, and he dropped it down like Jordan.
Yeah, he did, Don. He did. But real quick, guys, as we are beginning to end out the stream, I just wanted to bring up when we talk about grails, right? When we talk about grails, I want to show you guys some figures that I personally think are true grails. And of course, everybody has their own definition of grail. Some people base it solely on monetary value. Some people say, no, this is a grail to me because it's a figure that's very sought after to me personally. It means something to me. So if you define grails in terms of value, I think these would be considered grails. And obviously, first one we bring up Dark Side Anakin, $750, best offer accepted. Got it right this time. $20 shipping. Of course, this includes extra taxes as well on top of that best offer accepted. So very expensive figure. If you guys are new and you're wondering, like, what is a grail in terms of Hot Toys, this is one of them. This is definitely, I would say, the biggest single Star Wars Hot Toys grail. There's a lot of other ones that are very expensive as well, but I think by itself, not a 2-pack, this is the most expensive.
Snowtrooper, the single pack Snowtrooper might be up there.
I feel like, I mean, I'd have to check, but I feel like I've seen that one recently sell for in like the $650 range. So if not, they may be neck and neck, Don, at this point. They may be neck and neck. I know the 2-pack is just highway robbery. I have that set, but I would not pay $1,300 that some people are paying for that.
Yeah, I have the single pack, so I'm right there with you.
Right, they're expensive, dude, and that single pack, people want it because it says Empire Strikes Back on the box. So it's funny how that works. Zombie says 500 or so. Yes, Yondu. We're gonna talk about Yondu. Gambino, don't get my hopes up. Don't get my hopes up, dude. I know I'm not gonna spoil anything, but don't get my hopes up. But yes, guys, Darkside Anakin consistently selling for a crap ton of money, and he's gone down. He's come back, but he always comes back. He always comes back. Always. So this is my favorite figure in my collection, and it's strictly because Anakin / Vader are my favorite characters in all of Star Wars, and this one just holds a very close connection to me. So I love this figure so much. But would I pay $1,000 for it? I don't know about that, guys. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And in stock stuff, we're talking like almost 5 figures at that price. The next one, the chat is very smart. You guys are always very smart. Yondu. I mean, this lucky seller right here paid $150 just for the coat.
Just for the coat.
Just for the coat. I mean, if that doesn't tell you that Yondu's a popular figure. I will say I did see some pretty lucky comps in terms of sold listings on eBay on this one, and some people got really lucky, but $550 or best offer, $83 shipping. $633, $42 shipping. $500, $25 shipping. This person got really lucky. These two people did pretty well right here. $389, $365.
Just before Guardians 3 released.
Exactly. They got very lucky because now I'm sure this figure is going to move its way back up once again. Exactly, Matt. Can't call it a comeback because Darkside Anakin has always been there. He's always ready to go. Ellen Ripley, yes, 12-inch Museum. That's another one. Ellen Ripley does sell it for a considerable amount. Universal Soldiers is highway robbery. Yeah,
yeah.
Sure.
True.
For sure. Yeah, I agree with that. I see Yondu going down in price. Trust me, Yondu 2.0 is coming. Hey, Gambino, I hope you're right, my friend, because I don't have them. Although, maybe that'll be a discussion for a 2.0 or leave it alone next time we do one of those, because it's a pretty fantastic figure from what I've heard. And I do think it's one of the best sculpts that Hot Toys has ever done. I think it looks incredible.
It is.
The pleather's scary for if you're paying more than $500 for that.
Yeah,
though.
I mean,
That
and I
would
have the
put me off
Star-Lord from
massively.
Volume 2, and he has a ton of pleather, so I've mentally prepared myself for it. But I know I'm going to crack and try to find a deal on the Yondu. And maybe if Sean one day decides to sell his, I'll bug him for it, because I know Sean's on the fence, because it's such a special figure. It really is. It's such a special figure.
I had mine about a year ago, and it started breaking down. I immediately let it go.
Yeah, I mean...
It's not one you can repaint either. It's such a unique color.
Yeah, and it definitely, it's not like that Star-Lord, which is like a pretty generic, like reddish, like crimson color. It's very difficult to match that color because it's got like multiple tones mixed in the color. So I see what you're saying by that. The next one, guys, Road-Worn Thor. This is another one that's been a pretty big grail for a long time, and I feel like he's kind of seen a bit of a dip recently, but he's still selling for a lot. We see a sold comp of $375, which is cheap for what this figure went for in the past. But you see, like Matt said, we can't call it a comeback because Road-Worn Thor never left. You can see a sold comp here. Brand new, $510, $17.96 shipping, $486, $74 shipping. So, guys, another figure that's definitely very sought after. He has that Surtur skull on his back. I think that's part of the reason why this one was so sought after. And Don, kind of like the Mud Trooper, this one was very much slept on, and for that reason had pretty low pre-order numbers, and I think that's why this one is so expensive. And also, there was other options for Thor at the time as well. And not only that, people collecting the whole Ragnarok line, this wouldn't be their first choice for Thor. A lot of people wanted that Gladiator Thor to go with the Gladiator Hulk. So this is another one that caught people off guard, and I'm not surprised that he sells for so much money.
But I think this was also exclusive.
And this was an exclusive as well, so that definitely helps with the exclusivity of the figure and the future cost of it.
Similar story to Darkside Anakin, really.
Yeah, a lot of people slept on it. It sat for a while. Darkside Anakin, I remember just staring at him, just sitting there. There's been a lot of figures, if you've been in the game for a bit, it hurts to think about the stuff you watch just sit in stock forever. But you know, I mean, who would have known at the time? You know, you don't. No one. I know, like we think we're wizards here in the YouTube space, but no one has the foresight like that to see into the future. You know, who would have known that Dark Side Anakin would be worth so much? At the time, people were just like, I'd rather just get the light side version. I don't need to spend that much money on a figure where they just changed his eyes and gave him another display base. But now, looking back on it, a lot of people are like, damn.
Well, that's because Mando saved Star Wars.
Yeah,
because if the Mandalorian never came out, I don't think we would have had as many Star Wars releases for. I doubt we would even have had 40th for Empire Strikes Back or talking about Return of the Jedi.
I think Anakin went up because it was people my age where we grew up with the prequels, and then 2018, most people were turning 18. 20 actually had enough money to be able to buy a hot toy, and then they're like, "I'll get the chosen one."
Right, the prequel babies. I mean, that's guys. Admittedly, I'm a prequel baby, and Dark Side Anakin means a lot to me. It means a tremendous amount to me, and I have all these figures in my collection. But that one will always hold the number one spot. There's no dethroning it, unless they came out with a crazy like quarter scale Anakin. Maybe I'd be like, damn, that's the best. But
to go with the quarter scale Obi-Wan.
Right, exactly. Oh yeah, the third party one.
Oh yeah, that abomination.
Yeah, that abomination. Matt Damon surprise, whatever we called that one.
I have the high ground.
Boba Fett says Rogue One Vader was one of my chases for a while now, but since Obi-Wan and 40th anniversary Vader versions have been announced, Rogue One Vader prices have been consistently going down. And yes, that one did tank hard, and that's a good one. Yeah, that was, and I have that figure in my collection. I in terms of the details and the sculpt work on the gloves and everything, that was the best in terms of how well done it was. But now it's like that one's an afterthought. You have a Kenobi Vader with a Hayden Christensen sculpt inside. You have a Sebastian Shaw sculpt with the helmet that Don expertly predicted many, many months ago. I mean, come on now. I mean, that.
Well, and you're also forgetting the 2-pack that came out after A New Hope.
That's true. Like the
which is, I mean, the Rogue One Vader, because the 2-pack Vader is actually the definitive A New Hope Vader.
Yeah, because it's much better. Yeah, I have the 2-pack, and that original release was horrible. That was like one of probably the worst Star Wars Hot Toys releases. That first A New Hope Vader with the sounds and everything.
Yep.
That figure was bad, and people were probably wondering. You see it on the secondary market, like, why is he selling that for $150? Because it's garbage. It's garbage.
Like the sideshow Vader was better than
the Return of the Jedi. Yeah, certainly. I agree with that.
Here's it. There was a time a sideshow figure was better than a hot toy figure, and it was Return of the Jedi Vader by Sideshow was significantly better than Hot Toys A New Hope Vader by leaps and bounds.
Yep. Sometimes Sideshow comes out and comes to play. You never know. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't.
And they did a Sebastian Shaw head sculpt for that version as well.
Yep.
See, one of the worst things Sideshow ever did was stop making clones.
Yeah, they did a lot. It's so crazy to look back at Sideshow and see the incredible amount of things that they've done, especially those diorama pieces. Like, Sean, you have that Yoda hut, which I'm so jealous of. But they've done some incredible stuff in the past. The Dewback.
Yeah, the Tauntaun.
The probe droid, the Tauntaun. They've done some really...
They should go down that route more.
I know.
They should.
Well, if they can get the contracts for it, because apparently they don't have them anymore. But they have it for animated stuff.
Okay.
Right, and then we saw how that's gone. I mean, hey, I have faith in the Cad Bane. But
I just want to see them actually, with the diorama, that's where their money's at. They could do it for everything.
Dude, I know.
Or just like how, they did that, I can't remember what it was called, but they did a diorama that fit everything. It fit Star Wars, it fit, I think it was like Alpha Red or something like. I can't remember the name, so I'm not going to butcher it and say the wrong.
Was it the G.I. Joe one?
No, it wasn't a G.I. Joe one, but they designed it to where it could be used for anything. It could be used for RoboCop. It could be used for G.I. Joe. It could be used for Star Wars, and I just can't remember what it was called. But it was a really good idea, and that's what they need to do. Like, for example, in my Empire Strikes or my A New Hope collection, I have the G.I. Joe Desert Outpost.
Oh, yeah.
With my Sand Troopers from A New Hope with that.
Yeah, those are very versatile pieces for sure. I mean, Oh, I've seen a lot, and another one that a lot of people do is this is kind of off topic from Sideshow, but like the Thanos base that comes with Thanos. A lot of people use that for their clones because it's just a rock base, you know. I mean, you can kind of mix and match, and I'm even doing that. The Spider-Man battling suit version, he comes with that kind of rooftop display. I'm putting my Eric Draven on it, you know, and I love doing stuff like that, Sean, like mix and matching different diorama pieces, because when you're just looking at a building or a ground, that doesn't have to be specific to the universe. As long as it doesn't have anything crazy laying on the ground that's like completely out of touch. I mean, you can make it make sense for sure in your own display. Mike makes a good point though. If that M1 comes out, I do see a lot of people hunting down that R5, and if you want it, guys, there's still plenty of places that have it. But I personally got 2 of the R5 packs because I wanted multiple pit droids, because I'm obsessed with pit droids. I love them, and we haven't had anything in 6-scale form from pit droids. So the moment I saw that, I'm like, yep, I'm getting 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one R5, put it in my original trilogy display, and then the other one will stay with Mando. And hopefully the day will come where we get that M1 and I could stick one of them in the N1. That would be best case scenario for me.
What if they do something like they actually reissue the Jawa, but they give you a different pit droid with that Jawa?
Then I'm right there. Any picture, I love droids. I absolutely love droids, which is crazy that I'm saying that, and I passed on the Jawa and Gonk pack, but I was just so butthurt that we didn't get 2 Jawas. I'm like, you know what? I'm not buying it. That's a regret for me, by the way, guys. We talk about collecting regrets. I'm stupid for doing that, but you know.
See, and I can see us getting another R5.
I would not be surprised. I would.
Yeah,
not be
with-
surprised
This one
What
from the
happened in
Mandalorian,
Mando? Yeah,
rather than the Book of Boba Fett.
going with like, you know, we get like 5 mouse droids or whatever.
Yeah,
But-
I could see it. I could certainly see it. I wouldn't put it past them, dude. I would not put it past them.
Or that'll be the one that comes with the season 3 1/6 scale Grogu with the pram.
Yeah. Tom, I know an N1 would be massive, but the wingspan on an X-Wing would be gigantic. I think it would be like 6 feet, something like that, something crazy.
Just the wingspan?
Yeah, just the wings, yeah.
I have no idea.
Quick math, Don. Come on, you're our math guy.
It's going to be big. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's going to be giant. It's going to be giant.
That's what she said.
It is what she said. Not to me, though. Penn says, so you're saying
Good
you have a
honesty.
spare BDU. I'm just joking. Not honesty, Sean. It was. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
No, it's
Penn
okay,
says,
little man.
So you're saying you have a space for your spare for a spare BD unit, huh? I can give him a good home. I don't know, Penn. You know me. I don't like splitting up my stuff. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Peyton says R5 with thrusters. Yeah, I mean that. You know, usually that's enough for Hot Toys. We saw what happened with the Paz Vizsla. Smack a different name on it, make the fat suit a little bit less, and give him the shield and call it a day. So that's not completely out of the question. But real quick, before we wind down, guys, our final figure, and this was brought up by Peyton in the chat. Funny that I have Peyton's comment brought up here, is the Obi-Wan Deluxe. And again, another one consistently selling, $520, $19 shipping, best offer accepted. $469, $88 shipping. That was a bid. $480, $5 shipping. $550, $29 shipping. So again, another figure consistently selling over $500. This person did pretty good here. $370, $46.66 shipping. So another figure, guys, when we're talking about Star Wars Grails in terms of value, or figure Grails in general in terms of value, this is another one. Very expensive. Someone brought up the animated Boba Fett. That one sells for like $600 plus all the time on eBay. So are these current figures, my point in doing this and showing these older figures is you could see what Grails actually sell for. And then we got to see what these current recent waitlisted figures, sold out figures, are selling for. Obviously, they're not quite anywhere close to Grail status yet, but it is very interesting that they are already selling for a considerable amount above retail. I think that has something to say about the current market, and that was the whole point behind this stream, guys, is I wanted to kind of give you all insight, especially if you're a newer collector, on what's happening. I've seen a lot of people on the Let Your Geek Sideshow page saying, wait, this figure's gone? Wait, this figure's sold out? So there are absolutely a lot of people that may be new to YouTube or maybe aren't on YouTube. I hope this video finds their way because a lot of people are confused. They're like, how the hell is the clone pilot gone already? How are these battle droids, these B1 battle droids, gone already? So I felt the need to do this stream because I feel like when we have a chance to try to educate people and give them the information they need to make an educated decision, that's where we want to step in. And I very much appreciate you guys sharing your thoughts. We do have a poll. I'm going to close out the poll because I did open a poll before we got going with the stream. So let me pull up this poll here, guys. Let's see. The question was to pre-order or not to pre-order. I'm going to end the poll now, guys. It looks like 74% of you say that you're pre-ordering. So a mere 26% of you are still skeptical, or maybe you don't have the means to pre-order right now, or maybe you're just riding it out to see if you can still get things for retail. But again, there is a large percentage, a vast majority of the people, at least here on this stream, that are pre-ordering figures. And we've said our thoughts as well from the panel that we're pre-ordering figures that we really want the most. And I think that's a smart way to go about it. You don't want to, again, dig yourself into a hole that you can't get out of, or see yourself losing out on a bunch of NRDs, because believe it or not, guys, those add up. Some of these, especially the vehicles, they're very expensive. They're very expensive NRDs. You're paying like $60 in an NRD for some of these vehicles, so it gets pricey. But that's going to wrap it up, guys. As always, if you haven't already, please like the stream and subscribe to the channel. I did announce in the Facebook group, on the YouTube page, and on Instagram, next Thursday, we will be doing the giveaway, finally choosing the winners for the giveaway, I should say. If you haven't already, please comment your Instagram and your YouTube channel on any of those posts. I apologize. I goofed. I thought it would be much easier for me to track the amount of Instagram people that were following. It was way more difficult than I thought, so I'm like, let me acknowledge my goof and let everybody know that I need them to comment on things. So you have until next Thursday to comment on that. Please help me out, because that'll make it a lot easier for me to track the additional entries from the Instagram follow portion. I would very much appreciate that. And again, if you're not already, check out the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group, because that is where I made that main post. You can also find it on Instagram as well. We have a great messenger chat over on the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group that we're all chatting about, talking about new releases, talking about anything going on. So please check it out. As always, guys, thank you so much to this incredible panel. It was such a great discussion. Thank you, Owen, for popping in on short notice. I very much appreciate it. And it was awesome to have your insight from someone that is very much buying from a different market, because you buy from all those different Hong Kong resellers. So it was great to have you in here. And thank you so much for jumping in short notice. This was a fantastic stream, everybody. And again, I hope at the very least, you don't have to take everything we say as fact, but use the factual information that we did present to you and kind of make your own decision, because at the end of the day, that's what's most important. And that's what I hope that you all take from this stream, is it gives you the guys the confidence to make your own decisions, because that is what an informed collector does. And I hope you guys can all become informed collectors and get some good advice from the many different people that you see streaming on YouTube, Geeking Out, and many others that do their weekly streams. There's a lot of great advice being given out. But as always, Sean, the Hot Toys Nightmare, as he's snapping away at his dog. Thank you so much, Sean, for being here, sharing some great advice with the panel and everybody in the chat. Very, very much appreciate you being here. It was awesome to have you as always. And again, Owen, thank you so much. And then Don, our special guest for tonight. Don, it was absolutely wonderful to have you back. Great to have your veteran insight on things. Some very great points made, and especially in regards to the comic shops. That is a very, very insightful thing that you said to everybody tonight, because that really puts it in perspective that it's not just Sideshow that we're dealing with, right? And it's a lot of different other factors, and these comic shops are all kind of involved in the same deal. So thank you so much, Don, for being here. It's great to have you back, and I can't wait to have you back next time you're free. And some great discussions tonight, really great discussions. And again, at the end of the day, guys, I hope that you take from this some good advice, and it helps you make an informed decision. And thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you so much to all of our great moderators, OG Fan, Matt, Payton, some guy who couldn't make it tonight, Insane One, everybody that donated, and all the wonderful people hanging out in the chat with us tonight. I very much appreciate you all. I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday evening. Of course, as always, we will see you on Thursday for our weekly live stream. And then just to let you guys know, I will be on my in the morning on my birthday on Friday. I will be on Mr. Mom Collectibles. We'll be doing that interview that he had to reschedule with a gentleman, I believe his name is Carl Newman, who is a movement double for Batman 89. So I'm really excited to do that interview with him and kind of get some knowledge on the whole process behind everything. I'm very excited for that. So definitely check us out on Mr. Mom Collectibles on Friday as well. And I'll remind you guys on Thursday. But that is all I got for you guys. Again, links in the description to everybody's channel. Please check everybody out. I very much appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and we will see you next time.